You're on the punchline with Kelly Pavlik and James Dominguez and our buddy Viking Herm and our great producer and good friend Justin. Actually, he's an asshole, but you know. We got a lot of shit today, guys. I know it's going to be blowing up. I know you guys are going to be asking the questions and you're going to be talking shit. But the good part about having a show is that we could do all the fucking talking and bypass your comments and your questions. But and you guys are going to have to listen.
Unless they just shut the show off. But it was a good week of fighting. I thought it was a good weekend of boxing. I think it's got out of hand with a lot of people losing their fucking minds, taking it personal. You know what I mean? Over a win or a loss, getting personal about stuff.
Yeah. I just think, you know, like, well, what I did on there was people that disagreed. Right. I just fucking bullshitted it out with them. But there's just some points that people make, and I'm gonna hop right into it. To be honest with you, I keep hearing everybody say like, well. I heard a lot of shit, to be honest with you. I heard that Canelo's punches weren't effective. And then I heard that Triple G's jab was amazing. Pretty much that's all he did for the first 6 rounds. And if you really want to give somebody a fight off of that, you know, give them the rounds, go ahead. But here's my point on that, when you start getting into effective punches and who threw effective punches. I don't know if how many people watch boxing or really know what they're watching when they do watch it, but Canelo was able to go in there the first half of the fight and take a very powerful puncher, a notorious strong knockout puncher guy. And Canelo was able to take him out of his own game and had him hesitant to throw big shots, to keep coming in wild or trying to back up Canelo. Nobody mentions that. Nobody talks about the body shots that were moving his spleen all the way against his fucking ribs. Everybody wants to ignore that fact because there is animosity and dislike for Canelo no matter what it be. Now listen, I'm not saying this because I like Canelo and I wanted him to win. I said that in the first fight, Triple G won 9-3. 9 rounds to 3. I had Triple G winning that fight. So I'm being straightforward. This fight, Canelo dominated the first half of the fight, 7 rounds, and took Triple G out, and the body shots were what was effective. Granted, the second part of the fight, Triple G picked it up and won some rounds. More convincingly than Canelo did in the first 6? Probably. But you cannot go back because of that and erase the early rounds that Canelo won. You can't do that. And there was 2 key rounds in the later rounds that Triple G needed that I felt he lost. Right?
Yeah, I agree.
Now, what's your take?
You said basically everything that I was going to say. I mean, the thing is this: when we went into this, I think people thought we were pro Canelo, anti Golovkin, which was not the case. No. I didn't have a dog in the hunt at all. The first fight, we were in Vegas for that fight, and we both said Triple G won that fight. I think I had it 116, 112, and you had it 117, 111.
I'm a huge fan of Triple G, and I think he's great for the sport, so I definitely have no problem. I like him.
But going into this fight, we called it. We called it from day one. How Canelo can beat Triple G. Mm-hmm. We said, in order for Canelo to beat Triple G, he's going to have to invest in the body and back Triple G up, and Canelo's going to have to stay off the ropes. Surprise, surprise, that's exactly what he did. He followed that game plan to the T.
He did.
He followed it like if we would have gave him the game plan. Then
Joe gets you can't go after face thing, man. People could get beat up.
Yeah, Joe, that doesn't matter. Some people break down faster than others.
You know, James the other day made a good point. Torgotti, notorious. Torgotti didn't get going until he had both eyes bleeding.
Yeah.
You know?
And he always lost his fight on the scorecards. He'd always pull it out with knockouts at the end. So that doesn't mean anything. And neither does CompuBox. We've been hearing a lot of shit about people posting CompuBox. That's bullshit. Because the judges don't see the fucking CompuBox. They don't even know what the punch output is. They're judging on a certain criteria. There's a 5-point criteria that judges use, or supposed to use. And I think that's what they use, and I think they used it well that night.
Well, going back to that, that's why I kind of said it earlier too. CompuBox works like this. If the first 4 rounds Canelo's up, which he was on a lot of the CompuBox. They showed a round by round CompuBox. And if Canelo's outlanding him by 8 punches a round, so he's winning those rounds though, okay? 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's say you get to the 8th, 9th round and Triple G is outlanding him in that round by 13 punches and does that for the rest of the fight. Of course, the end of the CompuBox is going to the numbers are going to favor Triple G. But you cannot go back to the rounds that were already won and take them away from Canelo. If Triple G landed 600 punches more in the fight and he did it all from rounds 8 on, too late. Good, but it's too late. Canelo already won those rounds.
Roger said, you said 5:30. You guys are going to be here for a while. Yeah, we're going to be on. This is just Eastern time. We'll be on. Damon's, I'm burned out on the topic. I realize you're burned out on it, but the other people watching aren't yet. And we have to address it. And you burned yourself on that topic, Damon. You keep talking about it.
Yeah.
So, I mean.
That is true.
You burned yourself out on that topic. We didn't.
It was a big fight. It was a pay-per-view fight that happened 3 days ago.
And like I also said on this too, if the score was 115, 113 Triple G, I would have had no complaints. None.
No.
If you saw as Triple G winning, no complaints. Because I could see how somebody could score that fight for Triple G. I could absolutely see it. But everybody judges fights on different criteria.
If anybody says that fight's robbery, then you shouldn't be allowed to watch boxing.
You're a fucking cunt if you say that fight was a robbery.
You should not be allowed to watch boxing.
You're a cunt.
Okay, Pacquiao Bradley is robbery.
A fucking robbery.
Criminal.
Yeah. Golovkin and Triple G, not a robbery. Neither was the first one. They called it a draw, the first one. It was a no harm, no foul. I mean, did I like it? No, Triple G won that fight.
That's where I'm going on the bias part. People had it a draw. A lot of people had it a draw. And I said that Triple G won that fight 9 rounds to 3.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a big margin. You know what I mean? So that goes to show that I'm not being biased.
How you doing, Tyke? No. Canelo fans, it's not about Canelo fans. Damon, you were giving just as much as you were getting back from these fans. You were just as fervent for Triple G as these Canelo fans were towards you. Let's keep it 100 on this. You know what I mean? You were talking more shit than most of them this whole time. And then he lost and you got pissed. Like the post today about Canelo fans are liars, cheaters, what was it? Sex offenders, rapists.
Personal on that because
I really fucking.
I thought Canelo won. But Roger goes, the first one was GG. Absolutely, Roger.
We agree.
And again,
we agree.
And this one could have went either way.
And that's what we said the same thing. If it was a draw or Triple G won 115, 113, 116, 112, I can't argue with the score.
I'll be straight up and straightforward on this. We called it the way the fight was going to happen, and it pretty much turned out the way that we called it. But I kind of, now that I'm sitting back thinking about it, not only just to be right, but I kind of wish that it was a draw so nobody's that fucking butthurt. Yeah, I mean, maybe it deserved a draw. It was a great fight. And I think also at the same time, and I'm part of the blame on this because I find myself getting involved in who I think won. I think we should kind of, maybe step back for the sport of boxing. Boxing fans are like that. They're never satisfied and they talk about it and complain. How about maybe eventually we just say, fuck it, dude. It was a great fight and it was great for boxing.
It was a fantastic fight.
Which that's another thing I want to hop into and talk about a little bit is people talking about a third one. Here's my take on the third fight. Will it be great? And will it do big numbers? Obviously it would. I think, though, that they fight at a pivotal weight, man. And they fight at a weight where they walk in the ring the night of the fight heavier than 160 also. They both could punch. For as much as I like to see a third fight, I don't want to see a third one. I think it could be pretty much the end of their career. Well, we don't know how much this fight now may have taken out of these guys. And I'm not talking about the next fight. I'm talking about maybe 2 fights from now. That was a war, and you don't have to get dropped or knocked out. These guys hit each other with some major league bombs, and they're not flyweights, they're not lightweights, they're not welterweights. I think a third fight will kind of sum these guys' great careers up as they had a trilogy, and I think people may bypass that, and I think it will end their careers shorter. Well, Triple G's close to the end, but it'll definitely end Canelo's career too.
Yeah, I would agree.
I'd rather not see a third one.
Damon said, what's the point of the fight if we can't talk shit? Talking shit's one thing, but getting emotional in your feelings where you're calling people rapists and criminals is fucking weird.
Yeah, Definitely Kevin and Roger.
I'm not a fucking Canelo fan. I'm not a Triple G fan. You know, like I said, I didn't have a dog in the hunt, but it's really fucking crazy how people are getting angry about this stupid shit.
But that's what I'm going on, Sergio and Kevin and Roger. I agree with you guys. The third fight, we don't know how much this fight has really taken out of these guys, and especially Triple G. I think Triple G is closer to the end, anyways.
I think Canelo has 5 good years left in the sport.
He does, but if a third one,
yeah,
even if he knocks out Triple G, the first 5 or 6 rounds are going to be a great fight, and it's going to be brutal. It does. It just takes a toll, especially when you get to them guys' level and the power that they have. And again, they're not fighting welterweight and junior welter and lightweight. They're fighting at a weight class where they're big men the night of the fight and make a punch.
Well, it was announced that Canelo's mandatory is Charlo.
Good.
And everybody's already saying Charlo's going to beat Canelo. Now, you guys, they jumped off the fucking Triple G train and they're on the Charlo train. When the fuck did Charlo fight anybody that could even say that, hey, he's going to beat Canelo anytime? When the fuck has Charlo even proven himself to say, I'm going to knock out Canelo? People are saying he's going to knock him out. I'm like, get the fuck. I don't know, man. I don't know. It's like the same people in Lomachenko train. Everybody that fights Lomachenko is gonna knock him out. You know what I mean? Everybody that fights Mikey is gonna knock him out.
And when they don't, then they were bums anyways, and they didn't.
They were bums.
Lomachenko and Mikey didn't beat anybody.
And then they're gonna get back on the new train and wait for somebody else. You know what I mean? It's always gonna be somebody.
Exactly. And again, it's not. We're not saying that because our buddy trains them and that we're friends with these people. We call it how we see it, and we have done that. We did it with the Mikey Spence. What we're saying is, like, when these guys go out and win and they're dominant and they beat these guys and nobody's giving them a shot in hell, and then after the fight's over, when they do beat them, your guys sing a different tune. It's well, they weren't that good.
Charlo was overrated. Well, he wasn't overrated. He wasn't overrated Friday night, motherfucker. You know what I mean?
Well, Rickendall's 4 foot and he's 94 years old.
But the day before, he was going to knock out Lomachenko, right? But his
boxing skills are superior.
He was 166 years old and was missing 2 fingers. You know what I mean? The day of. So
exactly.
Canelo Jacobs. You know what? I would have to go with Jacobs on that fight with Canelo. I think he's just too big. I mean, that's a big guy. You know what I mean? Jacobs. I think Jacobs is really skilled.
Siren Christian said, to justify both, Charlo was struggling against an aging. Yes, he was. And his first real test and that's a fight for a prospect right there, a guy like Trout, where they're supposed to go in, and even if they don't knock him out, they are supposed to win that fight and dominate and look sharp to move up the ladder. And he didn't. And granted, from experience, could there have been not a good night for Charlo and shit wrong? I'm not knocking that. Yeah, there probably could have been, but I'm just saying from what I've seen.
Damon says he will pull for Charlo before I pull for Canelo. My champ is no longer champ. So that's all I can read of that. I can't pull any more of that out.
Damon, we know you just don't like Canelo. But you still have to call it. I mean, you got to be realistic.
You got to call it fair, you know what I mean? But I don't know. I mean, part of this, what we do on this show is unbiased. And we got half our staff that is biased as a motherfucker. You know what I mean? It makes it real hard to do a show.
Yeah. It makes it fun. Fuck it.
Yeah.
It does.
We'll see. We'll see how fun it is when we can't get credentialed.
Yeah, we'll be able to.
I don't know, man. Golden Boy don't fuck around with that. You know that.
No.
When has Magnet Media and Golden Boy ever fucked around?
The show is on thin ice.
What's that?
Right now.
Yeah, we are on thin ice. Who's next for Triple G? You know what? I have no idea. I think right now Triple G has a lot of thinking to do and go back to that drawing board and try to figure out what's next for his career. Because, I mean, I don't think, to be honest with you, I don't think Abel Sanchez helped Triple G at all in this. I'm going to tell you why. Abel Sanchez was so worried about the media making commercials for Tecate of him eating steak, calling him out a cheat, you know, and going on the media and just talking shit and telling Canelo to quit being a bitch and stand still and fight. Well, when he got exactly what he asked for, and Canelo stood still and fought, he had no strategy for Triple G. He had no strategy for him.
Canelo beat him at his own game. Canelo had Triple G backing up.
Yeah, but he had no strategy for G in the corner. He's out there, you're losing. Well, yeah, you know, but give him something he can use.
I know how that goes. Well, there was one on here. Charlo kills O'Sullivan. Listen, I called the O'Sullivan fight.
I did not.
I told you on the way to Columbus.
I thought that Sullivan was going to beat Lemieux.
Yeah, I just thought he was, and even Lemieux. I don't think Lemieux is a top guy right now, and he still ain't. Again, that's how quick it goes. Everybody's like, "Oh, Lemieux, he's back in the mix. He shouldn't be." But O'Sullivan, I mean, the guy, because he has a nice mustache and he probably has a draw from Ireland, which they get big draws. I mean, if you're Jewish, you get a big following, and Top Rank will probably definitely pick you up if you have that. And if you're Irish and you got a big following,
or military or whatever, you have some kind of draw. But who has Charlo Fott as a name? That's the thing. I mean, it's what else was there? I agree, James Abel wasn't focused. There was no plan B. But that's the thing with a lot of Russian fighters and Cuban fighters. There is no plan B. If they only have a plan A. Now, I'm not going to say the same for all, because guys like Lomachenko don't have that issue. They have a plan B, C, D, E, F. But a lot of these guys are so used to dominating, destroying their opponents, they never put in a plan B. So when he was forced to fight Canelo's fight, it didn't go well for him, because Triple G's used to destroying whatever he hits. When he hits you, you're going to sleep for most people. And when it didn't, I think it messed his confidence up.
Yeah, and I got a new thing. I'd never been in there, and it's hard to tell somebody's power, but I do truly believe right now that Triple G that he hits.
Oh God, yeah.
But okay, we got a new YouTube viewer. Awesome, JZA06. Thanks for watching, bud. He goes, Kelly Paddock, one of my favorite middleweights of all time. Well, thank you for that, and I really appreciate it. Give him a shout out. Add on to the last comment. I thought Triple G edged it. I think he stole the fight in the later half. I had it 7-5. Canelo will always get the benefit of the doubt in close rounds. Well, he didn't in the first fight, Jay-Z. I mean, there was a lot of close rounds, and he didn't get it from me either.
No.
This fight, again, I think that Canelo won more of the first half, a little bit more than the first half of the fight. And again, he controlled and set the pace, and he backed up Triple G, and Triple G was just mainly throwing jabs. Granted, if those big flurries and where he may have buckled Canelo a little bit, that happened in one round, and you cannot go back and erase what Canelo did early on. And I think, that's my take on it.
I don't know. I think people score different. People think a jab being thrown over and over again counts for more than power punches to the body. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. But it counts more than power punches to the body.
If that fact, I'm gonna hit that. There was all I got is a YouTube Steve Z. What's up? What's up, Steve Z? If that jab was that effective, he would have been able to come forward and back Canelo up and have him against the ropes. If that jab or if the body shots wasn't that effective, Triple G would have backed him up and came in and fought.
He did exactly what we said he was going to do. The thing is. Oh, before we go any farther.
Point at me too. When you do that, I know that I got a question.
Before we go that, Evan wants a shout out. It's his 10th birthday today. So we get.
Oh yeah. Happy birthday, Evan. Alicia wanted me to send. I'll still send a video too, but happy birthday, B-boy.
Yep. And Siren Christian Barstad says, how do you see Billy Joe Saunders versus Canelo go? It's the same. The jury's still out on Billy Joe Saunders. I can't say. Right now, Billy Joe Saunders looks like a good boxer. He looks complete as a good boxer, but can he keep Canelo off of him when there's no power there? Can he keep this guy off of him?
I've been saying that, and I truly think that right now I got Canelo beating him because I haven't seen enough of Saunders. Who did you think of? What did you think of it?
The only thing Viking Herm scored this weekend was a really fun night with his Shield Maiden.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I mean...
what else we got? Hey, guys.
Hey, yeah, I mean...
Hi, Ashley. What y'all heating about David Benavidez testing dirty?
I have not heard anything about it, Dana.
Me either.
I haven't heard anything about it. This is sounding like Hagler versus Sugar Ray Leonard. Sugar Ray Leonard's jab and right hand versus Hagler.
Hey, listen, Damon, I'll go back on that right there, too. I got a little candy for that comment. I'll give that fight to Sugar Ray Leonard all day long, just due to the fact that he, over a 2-year layoff, from detached retina, no tune-up fights, and you come in and fight one of the top middleweights, and still to be able to give him a good fight, he fucking deserves to win that fight. What else we got? I had neither.
You know what? I don't know. I don't know on the Sugar Ray Leonard Hagler thing. I think the last time I saw that fight, to be honest with you, was like 1988 or 89. So I don't remember that fight.
I did watch it. It was a couple of years back. Again, I'm just going on. People forget though that Leonard, he didn't have no tune-ups. He didn't have the veins, Marsanians or whatever, to come back and fight. He went straight into fighting. We got YouTube.
How much of a shot does Povetkin have with Joshua? Oh, a fucking great shot. I don't think Joshua. I was a big fan of Joshua. I just, after seeing the last couple of fights, I haven't been impressed with Joshua.
And pretty much a heavyweight. Anybody's got a chance.
Anybody.
If you could throw the YouTube question, JZA06. Who do you guys think won the 12th round? I thought it was pretty clear G won it.
I thought Triple G won it.
And 2 judges gave it to Canelo.
I thought Triple G won the 12th.
It didn't.
I gave him the 12th. I gave Triple G the 12th round. I think I just gave him on some of the harder shots.
I got to go back again. I really can't. Either 10th or 11th, where everybody thinks Triple G dominated, I gave to Canelo.
Did you?
Yeah. So that right there would have been 7 rounds, guaranteed.
What round was it that he took a shot and he fired back in the late round? He fired back in the late rounds and hurt Triple G with a body shot.
It was either 9, 10, or...
Yeah.
It wasn't 11 or 12. Again, because though, that goes on a bias.
Yep.
People forget the round, what happened throughout the entire round, and maybe one big shot that Triple G. Listen, I'm sorry, because somebody lands the cleaner shot of the round, power shot, that one cleaner power shot does not make them still around in my book.
No.
And it shouldn't be that way in boxing.
Damon wants to know, does Mungia make a dent at 160? I don't know yet. No. I don't know. I think he's still kind of young, and he's really not, I don't know how well he's progressing yet. He's not progressing as fast as some of the other prospects out there. He's a world champion, don't get me wrong, but he's still a prospect.
I don't see
I think there's other prospects out there like Virgil Ortiz that's moving up a little quicker. I mean, we saw what he did this past week.
I mean, he just, I don't know, and I hate saying it, but I can say it as being a former fighter. The kid seems like a really nice kid, but I just don't see him beating the top guys at junior middleweight or middleweight.
No, I think Charlo skull fucks him. You know what I mean? And I think Hurd definitely does. I just think that...
Yeah, because Hurd's, what does he do when he fights a guy his size, too?
Yeah. Which Hurd is a guy his size.
Exactly. If not, it maybe might be bigger. I don't know. They're both big.
Yeah.
They're both big.
That's just a whole new generation of middleweights, They're kind of going back to the old generation of middleweights.
Well, fuck, they're junior middleweights.
Yeah, right?
How would you fight George Pavlik? I'd fight him the same way Canelo did in this fight. I'd back him up. I would use, can understand, I'm 3 inches taller than these guys and was bigger and hit harder than Canelo, a lot harder. Same way, I would just make him go back. And, even if he didn't go back, guess what? We're standing in the middle of the ring and we're fucking banging.
Yep.
And whoever lasts longer and wins. That's the way the fight will go. I guarantee I would have done that face up a little uglier, win or lose.
Well, and let's talk about something else too. And I brought it up in a post I made. A lot of people here on this show right now on this page kept putting down the scorecards from Media Row from the press, right? And using that as the gospel. If you do that, you are a fucking idiot. You're an idiot if you do that. Let me tell you guys how the media scores fights. Me and Kelly's been to, I don't know how many fights have we been to? Lots and lots of championships.
Real quick, I'm sorry, because I don't want to miss this question. Sergio Borgs, no, it's not even close to Gotti Ward won that fight. Great fight.
That's good. I'm good.
No, go ahead.
I don't remember. I lost my whole train of thought on something like that.
About how the media is scoring fights.
I'm good.
Media, they walk around and people will take the fight from the media.
Yeah, I lost the whole train of thought on that one.
It's thunder.
No, I just lost a whole train of thought on it.
I didn't know where he was bouncing to next. We'll get some of these questions. A big question.
How many different links does he need to go through?
I'm sorry. You okay?
No, I just wonder how many different links did he need to go through to ask the same question.
Who's that?
Sergio.
I don't know. Oh, but the media, I mean, so what? People going off, well, this guy had it, that's where you're going with that. This guy had it, this media outlet got it this way, all for Triple G.
Yeah.
They don't care. Last fight there, Garcia, Broner fight, they were asking me how I had to fight.
Yep.
Darren, what is your take on the Mayweather-Pacquiao 2? Do you think Floyd is serious and would be any different? I'm not really interested in that one at all. I'm not. I have no... Oh, well. I hope that fight don't happen. I mean, they were past their prime in the first fight, so... You all right?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good, just listening.
Got anything to say?
No, I'm just listening on today's show.
I watched the Mayweather-Pacquiao fight, the original one, and I remember that was $100 well wasted. And if we're having an opinion, I think if we had a second one, it'd be another $100 that I'd be giving old Mayweather. So, yeah, fuck it. I wouldn't watch it again either.
That was the first time I saw Lomachenko. He was on that.
Yeah. Who did you fight on that one?
I can't remember, but I was like, I didn't know who this guy was.
Sosa.
Shit, I was like, look at that.
No, we went. See, I thought we went to see the Sosa one.
Yeah, he said he watched it on TV, right?
Yeah, but you know, the Conor McGregor or
No.
the Mayweather Pacquiao.
Yeah.
Yeah, that wouldn't have been Sosa. That would have been who?
I didn't know who Lomachenko was, but I saw that.
Yeah,
Just like,
it was Sosa.
it's like, man, that guy's got something.
Who's WBS Superweight middle?
World Series of Boxing.
I don't know. I have not been paying attention to that. Saunders and Smith.
Is the King of Boxing HBO done? I think HBO's in big trouble. I don't know if they're done, but I think they're in big trouble. I think they need to make a lot of changes from the top down. I think the person who runs HBO Boxing is not a boxing fan, and so they haven't been just putting in the effort into signing some of these re-signing. I mean, Triple G's contract's up, and Canelo's contract is up too, so we'll see how it goes. I think you're going to see Canelo probably go to Showtime since Steven Espinoza was Oscar De La Hoya's attorney at one time, and he's also now the VIP of boxing for, or the president of boxing for Showtime. I think it's kind of a connection there, so you'll probably see him go there. I don't think ESPN has the money for a guy like Canelo right now. I don't think they'll pay out that kind of money that they want right now for Canelo. I think Showtime is better positioned right now for him. So
ESPN, they might. I agree. I don't know. They might do it to try to build up that championship series, but. Yeah, at the same time, I don't see where they will come from with the money. I agree where they would get the money for. You
got to remember though, ESPN's a top rank basically, and now Showtime is Oscar was Golden Boy.
You know what? Yeah, but don't ESPN do a lot of Golden Boy fights too? Friday night fights.
They do, but their main ESPN
because Top Rank was the one who actually got that.
And
job.
Showtime just signed Heyman's people too.
Let's see, Kelly. Do you have a gym now or a training partner? No, that's in the process, and you know the minimum is going to be 7 to 8 months on that. So, but there's no hurry.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Did Chocolatito is he back? I don't know if Chocolatito's back. I don't think he fought a guy that was really that good to find out. With that division, it's really hard. I mean, until he fights. Maybe a rematch with Quadras or maybe Rungvisai. Well, you don't know. Or maybe even Inoue at one point. You know what I mean? I don't know how it's going to turn out for Chocolatito. I'm not ready to sell the farm how good Chocolatito is going to be back. Now, I would like to see that. I'm a big fan of Chocolatito, but who knows? Do you think Hopkins would beat Triple G and Canelo right now? No, I don't. I think he's just too old right now to beat any one of those two.
Who, Hopkins?
Yeah. Hopkins 53 years old.
Yeah. And I don't want to see him making 160.
No, he ain't making 160.
YouTube, Steve Z says, I have to say it was a great fight and props to Triple G because he looked gassed by the 5th and came back like a true champ. Triple G had a great career, but I feel his time is done at the elite level.
Prime for prime. He wants to know if... I think so. I think Hopkins would have frustrated both of them. And I think he would have beat Triple G and Canelo. He would have frustrated the shit out of both of them. And he was big.
2003, 2004, 2005, 2006, that middleweight, where he was able to make that weight fairly easy, too. Hopkins destroys him. Hopkins had to move out of middleweight division, though, after a while because he was 40-some years, or late 30s, early 40s, trying to make 160 at 6'2".
Anyway,
I don't think Triple G's. I don't think he's done that much. I think he ain't gonna beat the Canelos, but that's it.
Lemieux came in the ring weighing 15 pounds having the weigh-in. Do you think the same day weigh-in? I'm against the same day weigh-in, Kevin. My thing is this: if you make weight in a fight, that should be what matters. If you don't like somebody coming in 20 pounds, you fucking gain 20 pounds after that time too. You know what I mean? But he followed the rules. He made the weight. He made 160. And if he came in 15, 20, or 100 pounds, he made weight. That's what I feel about it. I don't know how Kelly feels on it, but that's just how I feel about it.
What, on making a weight?
Yeah.
I mean, again, we go on that. You make weight. So anything's possible. HBO needs to shake everything up from talent to man.
I agree. They do. They have a person that's not in charge, that doesn't care about boxing, and they're stagnant. They're losing everybody.
Yeah, they're not really putting Showtime. I was thinking it was just more because Showtime's making better matchups.
Yeah.
But
hi Shelby, how are you? It's Shelby.
Hi Shelby, how you doing? Who do you think HBO? I mean, what do you think they need to do to actually start signing, putting the money up for these big fighters?
I think they need to start removing some of the management up there, and maybe remove some of the faces that we have commentating fights. Fucking what's his name? Letterman. Is fucking 90 years old. He called Triple G winning every round. I was like, what the fuck is he watching?
He was too.
You know what I mean? I mean, shit. I think they just need a whole different change in outlook. You know what I mean? This is the old regimen. I think they need to bring the whole regime back, a new one. Just like Showtime did. Showtime changed people out. They weren't afraid to get rid of Ferdy Pacheco and those other nut huggers that were working Showtime at one time. And everybody gets mad when I said that. But Ferdy Pacheco, Bobby Chez were fucking nut huggers. It was the worst thing I've ever seen with Showtime. Them dudes, if Chavez came in the ring, Tyson or Terry Norris or Felix Trinidad, they lose their damn minds.
Yeah, me and Ricky were sitting there fucking watching it, and like after round 5, he had him like 4-1 Triple G, and we're like, what fight?
I said that we lost like 4 people watching because they're nut huggers. No, but I got my train of thought back on the whole media thing. We had a lot of people, they got mad about the media. They took the media scores literal, and they were like, oh, well, the media, this person. Let me explain how the media works, guys. We go to a fight, the media goes there, and there's these kings of media, so-called kings of media. You guys got like Steve Kim, what's the big one's name?
Dan Raphael,
Ron Borgs, and some of the other, even Ellie Sekback.
East Side Boxing.
Ellie, some of these other guys there that are like the top of the top when it comes to media. Well, most of these other guys are fucking sitting there talking, not watching the fight. They're blogging. They're doing other things than what they're writing another story. And when the fight comes, they do this mad fucking scramble and run around to those guys, those higher up guys, and they ask, what was your score? What was your score? And they start writing it down. How many times they do that to us, Kelly? How many different media outlets did that?
The Mikey fight alone, we had
6?
Five, yeah.
5 or 6.
There was like 7 of us up there, and 6 out of the 7 people
asked us what we scored.
Yeah.
And then a few of them said, well, I had Broner winning. I was like, what fight did you guys just watch? Literally, what fight did you watch? And
not every fighter had Triple G either. I mean, there was fighters that had Canelo winning the fight.
Of course. But what I'm saying is this. A lot of these media guys, they're not working for the fighter, and they're not working for a promoter. They're not doing that. Everybody thinks, oh, they're pro Golden Boy, they're pro Al Heyman. No, they're not. They're pro self-service. They're gonna go and they're gonna kiss Thomas Hauser's fucking ass. I'm not being mean, I love Thomas Hauser. They're gonna kiss Thomas Hauser's fucking ass and score what he scores so they don't rock the boat. So when it's time to move into a better position, well, I was on board with Thomas Hauser all this time. And that's what they look at. And they try to move into that next position. All they're doing is jockeying for the next position. And they don't want to rock the boat to do that. So you'll get 20 or 30 media guys that'll agree with all the scores of these other guys. And you might have 3 or 4 guys that do their own shit, that don't care what anybody says, and they're going to score it the way they want. But for the most part, it's a dog and pony show. It's funny, most fighters most fighters had Canelo winning, and most media had Triple G winning. Yeah. Now, whose word am I going to take for it? Am I going to take some of the pound for pound guys like Andre Ward, Mikey Garcia, Robert Garcia?
That was some of the things that were thrown at me.
Even
all these fighters had it, Canelo. Well, I know, or Triple G. I know a shitload of fighters that had it for Canelo.
Errol Spence had it for Canelo. Charlo's had it for Canelo. It's funny that all these world champions have it, but then we're going to take the word of a fucking media who weren't watching the fight.
Yeah. I want to answer that. Timothy Gordon goes back on the one. I think giving a fighter a full day to rehydrate is better than only giving them 12 hours.
They get 30.
Yeah, the 30 hours is because you have to. It's if you're trying to build the safety of the sport, you have to.
That when you cut weight like that, Kelly will tell you more better. I've cut only as an amateur, but Kelly will tell you as a pro, it depletes your brain. Your brain is depleted, and it causes injuries.
And believe me, even at 30 hours,
you're only 80 or 70%.
Yeah, that's not enough time for everything to recoup.
I've heard you need to take a week or two before you get back to normal again. Your body.
So you may feel it even after 12 hours. You may feel good, but your body's not ready for it. Your brain's not ready for it.
Well, most times 30 hours after weigh-in now, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah, right around 30 hours.
And see, Amy, read what Amy just said too. I can't pull that up.
Media are far from the judges. Their scores are just a perspective they hope will keep them in favor with promoters.
And that's the truth. I mean,
or other outlets.
You got to remember, the sport of boxing is so fickle. You make one wrong step, you do one thing, you're blackballed. You can get blackballed in a second. There are writers out there right now that said one thing against a certain promoter, and they'll never work a fight again. And so you got to be real careful, and you got to be real political. It's a very political job. The only difference is me and Kelly don't give a shit. We don't care. I don't give a shit. I don't care if I ever work another fight again.
Lightweight, who would win between Chavez Sr. and Roberto Duran?
At what weight? 35?
Yeah, 135.
I would go with Chavez.
I would have to agree.
Let me tell you why. Roberto Duran was a monster. He was strong. He was powerful. He was everything you could be. Roberto Duran could dish it out, but when he took it, he folded. He fucking folded like a piece of cardboard.
Yeah, Chavez hitting that body.
He was a bully.
Somebody hitting him back with body shots like that. Everybody's hard.
Leonard made him stop. Benitez beat him to death. I mean, all it took was another guy, another bully to make him wilt. You know what I mean? But yeah, I don't know. Abel Sanchez had it for Canelo, pretty much. Yeah. I think I would venture out to see this will be Abel Sanchez's last fight with Triple G. I think it's kind of.
Yeah, unless Triple G's really wanting to hang him up, I don't think he'll cut him loose. But he may fight one more fight with him. And
what do you think about Vostok leaving Oxnard and going to Teddy Atlas? Fuck. I think that's a mistake.
It could be, but it's not the worst choice to make.
No, I think it's a bad choice.
He's pretty good at it. I mean, he should have stayed. Obviously, he should have stayed in Oxnard.
Yeah.
But Gil Castro, I think Saunders is a better boxer with more power than Sergio Martinez, who got beat by both Margarita and Cintron. Y'all think Canelo even mentions him?
How would you think Saunders has more power than Sergio Martinez?
I don't see.
I don't see that. Sergio could fucking crack. And I don't know if he's a better boxer than Sergio either. I think that's kind of
early to say that with Saunders due to the fact that he has not fought nobody.
Sergio fought a lot of great talent, and Saunders hasn't really fought anybody. I mean, he beat Lemieux, and he beat what? Imam? I don't know. That's not enough for me to convince me yet. You know what I mean?
I mean, Lemieux is, again, who's Lemieux beat? Every big fighter Lemieux's fought, he's gotten stopped or beat.
Oh yeah, right, Sergio. Look, Martinez-Williams. When Martinez hit Williams, I thought Williams. I didn't think Williams was ever going to wake up again.
That was brutal.
Well, Kelly can tell you what Sergio does well better than anybody. He fought him. I mean, he fought Sergio. I mean, maybe his power didn't affect you as well because he was a fucking junior middleweight.
Yeah, power wasn't a problem for me.
Okay, and Eubanks Jr. is pretty overrated himself. He just lost again.
I mean, no matter which way you guys look at it, Saunders, we got the verdict still out.
Yeah, we don't know yet. And right now, I think I think right now he has legal issues right now already. He's been, I'm not going to get into it, but.
What do you get into again?
They said that he was trying to give cocaine to a hooker for some sex or whatever. I'm like,
streets.
Man needs to relax somehow, right?
Streets.
Right? But today on the show, we got some UFC. We got a UFC champion coming in today. We got TJ Dillashaw coming in. And we also got UFC number 2 welterweight contender, Matt Brown.
Yes, we do.
Who's been in the sport forever and fought everybody. I think he's one of the toughest guys in the sport.
He is.
And we're going to have him
healthy.
both. What?
He's healthy.
He's healthy.
Legs a lot better.
He looked good. We saw him this weekend.
Yeah.
We had dinner with Joe Rogan. We went to a show and we had dinner with Joe Rogan and Matt Brown in Columbus, and I think it was pretty fucking awesome, man. I was really surprised how well they knew their boxing, weren't you?
Yeah, well, Matt came out and said he's a huge boxing fan.
Yeah, but Joe came out. They were wrong as shit on the fight, but they really knew their boxing.
I had to poke fun at Joe today with that too. I said I already got on Matt about it, and I want to give Matt some hell when we talk to him. But
yeah.
And real quick, Jacobs beats on. I agree. I think right now Jacobs may be the best middleweight out there.
I would agree. I
think that's the one that the only one that can beat Canelo at middleweight right now.
I think Jacobs is the best middleweight in the world right now. Mm-hmm. I mean, and not just that. My only issue with Jacobs is he fights the level of his competition. He gets bored and kind of just relaxes. He does the same thing Andre Ward used to. They were so good, they just kind of chilled out and relaxed. I hope it's something he can get over and work through. Yeah,
if Danny Jacobs comes out like he fought and fights like he did the second half with Triple G, nobody's going to beat him at middleweight because of his size. But if he goes out hesitant against Canelo will win the early rounds, and then Danny Jacobs will probably pick it up later in the fight, and it'll be too late, though.
Gil said that Saunders boxes like Ali. That's blasphemy in itself. That man does not box like Ali. There was only one Ali, and Billy Joe Saunders is not.
No.
I'm beginning to wonder. Maybe Gil's from England.
Might be. What do you got? Anything to say?
Oh, I think Jacobs would box circles around him.
What do you think about that Randy Savage shirt?
Well, since we're talking about UFC and boxing, I thought I'd bring in a little bit of WWE. I thought it'd be appropriate. Hell in a Cell was this weekend, in case anyone watched that. Probably not if you're watching Canelo and Triple G. But Brock Lesnar kicks some ass, but really gives a fuck, right?
You think Jacobs was Triple G's last great fight? No, absolutely not. There's so much talent. That's a talent-driven pool. I mean, you got these big dudes coming from 54 to 60 right now. You got Hurd. You got one of the Charlos. You got the other Charlo heading that way. You got Errol Spence moving to 54 eventually and probably a 60 before it all pans itself out.
Yeah, I'm confused by that. Jacobs, you mean Canelo was Triple G's last great fight?
Is
that what he meant?
I think he means when Jacobs fought Triple G, was that Jacobs' last great fight? I don't know. I think Triple G just had a great fight with Canelo. I think that was a great fight.
Yeah. But if that is what James is saying, that maybe that was Jacobs' last great fight. No, there's big fighters out there right now. My God, Canelo.
I think the middleweight division is one of the best divisions in sport.
Yeah, right now.
Welterweights, middleweights, and featherweights still. And you know what? The lightweight division is strong again.
It is. So boxing is getting hot.
Boxing's on the upswing finally, and that's what's good. Last in his prime. I think he had a great fight this time. I'm not saying that Triple G wasn't in his prime anymore. I think after this fight we might see an older Triple G, but I don't know. I thought Canelo won, and I think Triple G fought awesome in that fight. Yeah. And I gave him 116, 112, and I was actually being conservative. I could have gave him 117, 111 in that fight.
I have 116, 112 at first until I really went back and kind of was like, you know what? Let me make this so that people won't really get piss people off too bad. Make it 115, 113.
I think it's Charlie doesn't want to have to fight his brother. He ain't going to fight his brother. There's been so many world champions in the same weight class. It's just some bullshit excuse. The Ruelas brothers were the same weight. They never fought. Gabby and Orlando Canizales were the same weight. They never fought. Yeah,
there was nobody at fucking heavyweight, and Klitschko still didn't fight each other.
Klitschko's didn't fight each other.
YouTube comment, Steve Z. I have to say it was a great fight, and props to Triple G because he looked gassed by the fifth and came back like a true champ. Triple G had a great career, but I feel his time is done at the elite level.
I don't know yet.
Oh, another one. All right, Steve. Well, yeah, I don't know if he's done it. He might be done at the elite level, especially at being his age and coming off a fight like that. But he's definitely, with power that he has, he's still going to be a force. Steve Z. Kelly, switching trainers late in your career, did you learn anything new from Robert, or did you just need a new voice? Robert is a great trainer, but you already were established by then. Thanks. You never stop learning, Steve Z, and I learned a lot of shit going out there with Robert Garcia. And it was nothing, you didn't go back to the drawing board. It was just simple things, as far as catching pads and certain moves and angles and things like that, different combos and the reason why you throw those combos. Yeah, so, I learned.
Yeah.
Sergio, I think Triple G left it all in the ring. He may have. And then again, he may not have. We don't know.
The thing is this. Nobody knows, but nobody knows what the outcome of this is going to be. But I will say one thing, that I do believe when you have fights like that, you do leave part of yourself in the ring. I believe that Canelo may never be the same again after this. And I don't believe Triple G might be the same. I don't know. Gotti and Ward were never the same after that trilogy. Barrera and Morales were never the same after that trilogy. I think it takes something from you. And I think maybe that third fight may not be the best health-wise for them. Maybe they should move on,
That's what I was saying. And taking it away, yeah, even at those weight classes, the guys that you mentioned, but still, those are lightweights. If anybody could get away with fucking 3 wars like that, they might be able to, but no, that's still going to take a toll on the body. Can you imagine at middleweight, guys that are coming in fight night, 170, 175 pounds,
right,
that can hit, beating the shit out of each other? Totally different.
It is. It's a whole different situation.
McGregor?
He lost his mind.
Yeah. Well, it could have been
everybody seems to be talking about this whole Mayweather Pacquiao. I don't even care about it. I don't. Both guys past their prime, and they're just it's almost a wasted effort to talk about. But if it does, I think Pacquiao wins the fight.
Well, yeah, but
I think Pacquiao has a little more left.
Well, he's been active too.
Yeah.
If I can hear him saying Connor. Connor could have been the fucking head problems or head trauma, but it could also be that he don't give a fuck. He just made $120 million and he's fucking happy and he's living it up and fuck everybody in his way.
Yeah.
That's the one way to look at it, really.
Sergio, it says rumor has that Pac-Man is broke. Yeah, I've heard the same thing, Sergio. It's not the first time he's been broke. Let's be honest. He's been broke quite a bit. Pacquiao and his people. Pacquiao surrounds himself with not the best people that don't have his best interests at heart, from what I've heard. I'm not gonna say names or anything like anybody involved with that, but just know that he was taking advantage of it for a lot of years. And the thing is, you can't have a guy that grew up selling bootleg cigarettes and donuts on the side of the road and expect him to be a financial wizard. You know what I mean? And he trusts everybody. He's a nice guy. And so, yeah, he's going to he kept getting robbed and kept spending stupidly over the years.
I called it out when everybody got pissed when I canceled that fight in Youngstown.
Yeah.
And I went on my fucking berserk because I was tired of biting my tongue. I canceled a fight in Youngstown because there was a strong reason behind it. I had a very good reason to cancel that fight, and anybody else would have too. That had half a fucking brain cell.
Yeah. And
when I did that, a lot of heat came down from local people. And that's the one local fighter came down on me when he should have had my back on that. And that's when I went on the rant about Pacquiao. And then everybody was like, he's fucking crazy. He's drunk, this, that. And literally 2 weeks later, it came out that Pacquiao was getting advancements and all this.
Purse advances.
And nobody wanted to give credit where credit was due, though.
But, let's be honest, guys. 95% of what you see in professional boxing is a fugazi. All of it is. The fucking cars, the jewelry, the houses, all that's bullshit. Most of those houses are rentals. The cars are fucking rentals. The jewelries are even rentals. These guys, they make $150,000 purse, and they go out and buy a Bentley. It's a rental. It is. These guys, they take that money and they go, and it's all about how they look and not investing it the way they should. It's a bunch of bullshit. The only ones that you see that are actually driving Bentleys are Floyd Mayweather, Canelo, Triple G if he wanted to, Wilder, and Joshua. Some of these big names in the sport, you know what I mean, and promoters. Everybody else, you know, there's guys in there, don't get me wrong, that manage the money well. You have guys like Leo Santa Cruz and Mikey, who's turned himself into a small fortune. But those guys don't even drive Bentleys and drive like assholes. Their broke is different than broke, but broke is broke, Amy. You know what I mean? I mean, but it's the same.
That's actually false. When you have it, and you guys, anybody that went broke, when you have it and you lose it, it's fucking harder to come out of it than anybody else.
I agree. What about Usyk Bellew? You know what, Damon? I really think it does. I think Usyk and Bellew is something we need to look forward to. I do think Usyk wins that fight, though. I think Usyk is dominating. He's a dominating fighter. He's an amazing fighter. I
mean, it's hard for me to even find a strategy to beat Usyk. I thought a couple guys could, but I'm just that big, that fast.
If you pressure him, he will box you, right? And if you try to box him, he will outbox you. I mean, the only thing you could do is you have to be a boxer puncher to beat this guy. And you have to outwork him.
And you got to hope that you don't, especially at that weight, that you don't get tired.
Yeah, you have to outwork him. That's the only way you're going to beat him.
At that weight, people get tired quick, and they're not in that good shape. And he throws more punches than welterweights do around. So, I mean, I don't know. I don't know how you beat him.
Can you read all of Amy's thing? I can't read it all because my thing don't open it all up.
The Badoo Jack?
Yeah, no, it's the thing about the being broke.
Their broke is a way different broke than what we're used to. But
he was a source of income.
Income for hundreds of people.
Yes, he was. But that wasn't the only reason he was broke. He had people close to him in his team spending hundreds of thousands of dollars a week on bullshit. Why he wasn't even there a lot of times. They'd be in Vegas spending money on whores and drugs and food and liquor. I mean, let's be honest. And Pacquiao sitting in the Philippines not knowing one way or another. You know what I mean?
Well, he donated millions to his own country, too.
There's nothing wrong with that. You know
there's nothing wrong with it, but at the same time, you can't give... That'll run you broke very fast. You can't give your fucking people millions of dollars and it's like, okay, so you gotta live too, though. Hey, I have no problem sharing and helping out, especially when people are in need. But dude, I'm not gonna run myself fucking after working my ass off in one of the hardest sports in the world. I'm not gonna run me into the ground.
Sergio says Top Ranks hasn't paid him. Yes, they paid him for the Matisse. They didn't pay him his rights for the broadcasting rights. They paid him for his purse. He didn't get paid the broadcasting rights for the fight. That's his issue. And let me tell you what, guys.
Who was that?
Sergio said Top Ranks wasn't paid him for the Matisse fight. Yeah, they've paid him. He just didn't get paid his broadcasting rights, which that's in his contract. But before you pin Top Rank as a bad guy, this is also this could be a financial maneuver to get Manny Pacquiao out of a Top Rank contract so he could sign to fight Floyd Mayweather or Mikey Garcia because they're not with Top Rank. And as long as Manny's with Top Rank, there is no fight with Mikey Garcia, and it's going to be hell getting one Floyd Mayweather because we all know the reasons why. So I think it could be a legal maneuver to get out of a contract because a breach of contract in boxing will nullify a contract immediately. There's no waiting period.
Heck is going in his country. He is fine. He likes money. Who doesn't like more money?
He likes...
That's not what we're talking about, though. I mean... what do you make, I think, annually in the Philippines as a congressman or whatever that was?
I have no idea.
I think I've seen like 1.3 million. So that rate there should be good enough to, especially in the Philippines.
Yeah.
Thanks, Dustin. I appreciate it.
No, I don't...
Thanks, Lori.
I'm responding back to questions, guys.
She said, we are listening at Civics.
Thank you, Lori. I love Lori. She's so nice.
She is.
She unfriended me on Facebook. I think my shit got too much for her.
She's my boo.
I know. You know what I miss? Those peppers she makes, the stuffed peppers.
Oh, yeah.
Those are the best, dude. But
I don't know what was juicier, eating those and the juice on the plate or in my pants.
I don't think he is as broke as people are saying. Especially, you know what, Damon, you're right. I don't know how broke he is, but broke, when you've made $500 million and you're down to 20, that's pretty broke. You know what I mean? I mean, that's, or whatever he's down to. He owes $50 million to the U.S. government in back taxes alone. If he even comes on U.S. soil, they'll arrest him. That's why if he fights, it'll probably be in Indonesia, Dubai, the Philippines, Japan, somewhere like that. So, but...
Or maybe Mayweather and him made a pact, and that's why they're doing it again.
That's like me making my income. Let's just say I make $60,000 a year, okay? And they cut me to $20,000 a year. I'm fucking broke. That's broke because I have $60,000 a year taste on $20,000 a year. Does it make sense to you, Justin? Justin has $500,000 a year taste on $60,000 a year now.
Yeah, right.
No, I agree, Damon, but I do think, but you know, we've heard that a lot of these people, I don't want to get a name because I don't want to get fucking, but reliable sources that he had people in his camp, advisors and such, and team members that had his debit card and his credit cards and just would spend because he trusted them to do the right thing. 300,000 pesos. I wonder what that is converted to our money. Filipino pesos, not Mexican pesos, or I could tell you. What?
I know the U.S. dollar is worth a lot of fucking pesos. It really is.
You know what, though, Damon, I would not be surprised if Floyd helped him out because Floyd is and people hate on Floyd constantly, but let me tell you something about Floyd. He is a generous fucking guy. I'm going to say it. When Genaro Hernandez passed away, Floyd Mayweather was there to pay for that funeral. And didn't receive any credit from the media and things like that. Also, when Joe Frazier passed away, Floyd Mayweather ponied up that too. And you know, nobody wants to bring that up, but I'm just trying to, whatever Floyd Mayweather's faults are as a fighter or whatever, a person, he does good things for people.
He does. But, you know, going back on the Pacquiao thing.
It's $5,548.
Is he broke? Yeah, or I shouldn't say that because we don't know. And it's really not a fucking business. Who gives a shit? But, well, I guess what to say on that, and kind of what you touched on, you don't have to be broke. If you're getting $600,000 a year, or 60, if you make $60,000 a year, and now you get cut in half, no, you could change that. You could just change the way you live and still, you know, and live a really good life. The problem comes in with Pacquiao is when you owe more than you got.
Yeah.
A lot more than you got, and there's no real way of paying that fucking amount, then that's the situation that you're in.
Yes.
You know.
That being said, Kelly, with, you know, me and you are different tax brackets, obviously. But what I'm saying is, that being said, you said cut the way you live, but you still have $60,000 bills that you still have to figure out what you're going to do for that time period, which is making you more and more broke.
Exactly. Well, you could figure that out. Yeah, but I think the biggest thing on that.
I'll tell you what, I go from 60 to 20, I'm getting me a cardboard box and moving in your fucking backyard, dude. Kelly,
again, that term, I'm gonna be dragging my dog out to feed the cat.
Right? Kelly's gonna go, who the fuck's in a tent in my backyard? Oh, it's James again. I don't know. Yeah. Why is he taking a bath in a kid's swimming pool?
Wintertime. Throw him a space heater.
Don't worry about it, guys. I'm good back here. You told me great stories about Floyd. You know what, though? It's true. He was also there for Diego Corrales and donated a shit ton of money to his foundation. Floyd took care of the people that were there from the very beginning. And you're right. Floyd paid for a dozen funerals of kids and young people that he has read about and reached. And you know what, Simon, you are so right. And he doesn't do it for media purposes and things like that. And I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Sonny says, Jimmy Guerrero is thinking of putting on a show at an exhibition match between the two of us. Sonny, talk him out of this shit. He was boozing on the fucking internet the other day. He ain't making a comeback. Both you motherfuckers are 53 years old.
Simon says, Floyd never did a world tour. He wanted to fight in London when he saw the crowd for the Hatton fight. I'm sure Dubai or Japan would sell out in the arena.
And I'm joking, Sonny. You guys are good dudes, but you guys do an exhibition match. We will be there for it. Right? Mm-hmm. We'll go to the Sonny Chavez and Jimmy Guerrero exhibition match.
Don't talk for me.
Freaky K. No, I'm just, but
fucking Jimmy could be fighting literally in my backyard, and I will go out in the front and cut the grass.
Well, the one thing though too that people are talking about Floyd, which I agree with. when they asked why did you take care of Gennaro the way you did, he said Gennaro was the only fighter that gave me a shot. No, every other world champion avoided Floyd Mayweather at 130. Gennaro said, I'll give him a shot at, whatever his record, 15-0, 16-0, 17-0. He gave Gennaro that shot, and he beat him, and he gave him his first shot at the WBC title, and Floyd said he never forgot that. Yeah. And it meant a lot to him. That's huge for a fighter. So, like I said, on this show, we are not, biased. I'll give credit. We give credit to everybody who deserves credit. Floyd, you win that kind of titles, you were that kind of fighter, you're going to get ego. Yeah. Shit, even Kelly.
We're not biased on the show. We're just touchy.
Yeah, we're very touchy and defensive. No, even Kelly has an ego. Let's be honest. You have an ego. You're a former world champion. There's some things that you won't tolerate when people say, like I heard from, what's that faggot's name? That was, sorry guys, I can't use that word. But I meant it, I don't mean it as gay, I mean it like an asshole. Yeah. He said that you, Nestor Daniels, his name, this motherfucker, saying that you ducked Triple G. Triple G wasn't even fighting the U.S. when you were fighting.
Relevant at the middleweight. But I don't believe. And I tell you what, in 2011, 2012, he was making noise at 160. I was at super middleweight.
Yes.
Not being able to make 160.
Yes, and I roasted that guy out the frame today, which was really good. And I gave him a chance last night. I gave the dude a chance. He kept talking shit. I was kind of going along, whatever. Just saying little stupid shit along, because I was tired. But, I had my pre-workout in. I had my fat burner going simultaneously. And that makes me all nimbly in the bimbly, right?
You still taking it?
What, the pre-workout?
Yeah.
Hell yeah, I take.
No, the fucking fat burner.
Oh yeah, I went all in. I was at full afterburner today. You know what I mean?
I thought it was making your eyes cross. And...
It did. But I did the Pavel 5x5, and I did a 5-mile run. I needed it. So when he hit me, when I heard the talking shit, and I was full afterburner, I was on the hate train. You know what I mean? I was the conductor of the hate train. I was like, choo choo, all aboard, motherfucker.
Was you doing it in between sets?
What?
Was you doing it
right in between sets?
Cracking a glass on your phone?
I get done with 225 for 5. I get up and go, fuck your mother, you motherfucking cocksucker, and then go right back to 5.
I gotta throw this out on the speaking of people lifting weights today, my fucking pops, 255, 67 years old.
That is a strong dude,
on free weights. On free weights.
Dude, you know one thing about your pops? He has hands like a monster. Dude, how did you survive those?
He never even hit us. He just grabbed us and you knew. You fucking knew that grab was worse than anything.
He could have helped Kelly make you weight by just shaking the shit out of you, Kelly. What are you, Kelly, 64?
So first time on going from a Smith machine to just hitting those free weights, not being used to it.
That's a big difference,
stabilizers.
Man. Hey, Scott.
I'm over going to be up 285. He does 285 at Planet Fitness.
Yeah, right, Esteban. And guys like Esteban and guys like Sergio, those guys are always up for more information. They're giving us information. Sergio always likes to argue, but I can accept that he's a good guy. But some of these guys on this show are fucking awesome. They give us information that we don't have, and they always question us, and they keep pushing us to learn more. Because I'm not a historian of the sport. I really not. Are you, Kelly?
No, absolutely not.
I can't tell you who was a bantamweight champ in 1992. I don't give a fuck.
Weight classes below junior middleweight
right now. But what we can do on this show is we can break down technique like a motherfucker. We can break down technique, and we can tell you how a fight's going to go, and we can tell you what we think. Other than that,
we can give you a little behind the scene on business part of it, what James just said as far as technique, everything else. Your guys' job is to be the historians and fucking bring
help us out
and talk. Yeah.
Oh, before we go anything, can I give a shout out to Scott Marion and the Swarm mixed martial arts team out of Cleveland? They're getting ready to fight in the Caribbean next month, and I want to give the whole team a shout out. Scott's a great guy. He's going to hook us up with. He's an artist. He's a famous artist, right? He's drawing a picture of you.
Sweet.
And but he told me not to tell you, but I surprise you.
Tell him 9-inch.
But no, he wants a fight picture of you to draw. So.
Yep. Okay, Jimmy said Kelly fought B-Hop, saying he ducks Triple G is absurd. It is, and not only did I fight B-Hop, but I jumped up 2 weight classes for it. And then Simon, I think Kelly reached advantage. Okay, yeah, Simon, I think so too, and thanks for that, Simon. That's why you're one of the favorite employees, other than Justin.
And Damon and Amy, everybody.
I like them, but they don't give me compliments like that.
Oh, Simon doesn't. Yeah, Simon gives compliments. Damon's cussed us out all week.
Yeah, Damon
has cussed us out all week.
Damon's pretty much calling me a bigot because I think Canelo won.
Damon's called us everything but fucking Mexican and white people.
Yeah.
He even called Viking Herm a fucking bastard.
Oh.
He did. He said you were a Viking bastard. He said your mother was an acorn and your father was a sheep.
I fart in your general direction.
That's what Damon said. Yeah, Bantamweight was Orlando Canizales. And also, was it also Wayne McCullough? And also Eddie Cook, Simon? I'm going to say it's Eddie Cook. Eddie Cook in 92 was the WBA champion. McCullough was WBC, and Orlando Canizales was the IBF champion in 1992.
Much a fucking historian.
You know why I knew that? Let me tell you why. Because I met McCullough in 92. I trained with Eddie Cook. I sparred with him at the Fort Hood team when I was only like 15 years old. I wasn't even in the Army yet. I sparred with him. He kind of helped me out. You know what I mean?
Dan Cook?
No. Eddie Cook was a monster, bro. He got caught for fuck. You know what he got caught for? He got caught for stealing jokes. Dane Cook. Yeah, he got caught for stealing jokes.
So you were given a shocker though, right?
Yeah, he got caught for stealing jokes. Oh, look, we just brought up Orlando Canizales and he's watching. Hey, champ, it's great to have you on. Hey, guys, we have a Boxing Hall of Fame, Orlando Canizales watching. We were just talking about the three Bantamweight champions, 92, and I said Orlando Canizales, Wayne McCullough, and Eddie Cook were the three champions. You know what, Simon?
Somebody must have mentioned that to him.
That was a lucky, though. That was so lucky that I guessed that, because I would have never guessed the lightweight champions of 92. Would you?
No. I was in 92, I was in 4th grade.
Hey, look at Orlando. He said, James. Hey, guys, the Boxing Hall, one of the greatest fighters ever just mentioned my name. I can fucking die. I can die happy.
I was still doing a swan kick with a gi on and fucking...
Hey, let's ask Orlando. Orlando, when are you going to come on the show? When are we going to have you gracing our presence with your greatness?
Yeah, that'd be awesome. We've already been talking about...
We've been talking about it for months, and Orlando's like, he don't see it. He only goes to the big shows.
Yeah.
But
I mean, we're climbing, though.
We are climbing, that's for sure. But the one thing I liked about Orlando...
Thank God we got endurance, because it's a fucking long-ass climb.
It is. We're not even, according to some people, we're not even above a shit show yet, are we?
No.
But Orlando was one of the... You know what I liked about him? He was a great counterpuncher. If Orlando would slip your punch, and he'd beat you the fuck up. People didn't want to punch at him, because he'd beat you up as soon as he'd slip a punch. And I saw a post the other day where they were talking about who was the greatest at that weight. Was Orlando Canizales, Johnny Tapia, or Michael Carbajal? And Mike Carbajal a few pounds lower. And I made the comment, Kelly, tell me if you agree. Johnny Tapia was a great offensive machine. He wasn't a great defensive machine. But he could get pushed back too and beat up, as Barrera did, and Ricardo Vargas did, and some of these other guys. Carbajal was a great offensive fighter, but he was not a defensive specialist either. Chiquito Gonzalez proved that. You know what I mean?
Tapia was reckless.
He was reckless, but he was fucking good.
He was, and he was balls. He was in that recklessness made him dangerous.
Yes,
and it also made it dangerous for him.
But you had a guy like Orlando who could punch, who had a defense, and he could knock you out with either hand, which made him deadly. I remember when we watched the highlight videos together. You remember that?
Yeah.
And we're like, holy shit, this guy's good. And let me tell you guys something. In 1993, I just won nationals, the ringside tournament. I run the ringside tournament in Lenexa, Kansas. My coach took us to Texas, to the Bay, and I watched Orlando Canizales fight Sergio Reyes outdoors, and it was like 105 degrees. I got to meet Orlando Canizales that morning, and it was pretty awesome. I don't think he remembers, but I told him I'm gonna spar him one day, and he just looked at me like I was stupid.
Think about that. I don't know if
Orlando, how hot was it that day? It was about 105 outside. And dude, it was no wind blowing. It was humid. It was outside under a tent. And these big bugs were biting people. And it was a great fight. Orlando says, tough guy like Kelly.
Thanks, homie. I appreciate it. Awesome. That was a compliment,
man. It was, man. It was. Hell yeah. Did you hear Enzo Calzaghe passed? Yes, I did hear that.
Yeah, that's horrible.
And you know what? Enzo was a class guy, wasn't he?
He was.
He trained Lockett for you, right?
Yeah. I tell you what, though. Him and fucking Jack Lowe were going at it, man. I thought they were going to fight.
Oh, yeah. I think he would have took Jack.
I'll tell you what, man. Jack was a tough motherfucker.
Really?
Jack's a scrappy...
Enzo was a fighter, though, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was. But Jack fought. I mean, you know, he wasn't pro, but Jack's a scrappy motherfucker, man.
Would he help Jack off?
He was stuck on a roof.
No, I like Jack. I like Jack Lowe. He's good for the community here, and he's good for the kids, and he's helped a lot of people. I like Jack. Scott, thank you. Sergio Mesa says Pavlik Golovkin would have been epic, and I believe that. I would have took Golovkin all fucking day. I'm just kidding. No, I think Kelly would have beat Golovkin. I think you would have backed him up the same way Canelo did, but I think you hit a lot harder. And
a horse with a horn in the middle of his nose would be a unicorn, but that's not going to happen.
But I will tell you this. You know what the difference making would have been, Kelly? The fact that you threw 80 punches per round would have been a big difference because you never stopped throwing 80 punches per round. It was 75, 74, 85, and it averaged about 80 punches a round. Yeah. So when you're throwing that kind of heat at that kind of speed and that kind of power, that's dangerous.
A whole game plan changes.
Yes.
You know, again, I'm going to defense. I kept my hands up. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying that I would win. I'm not going to do that. I don't care if people say, you're supposed to say it. No, I'm being dead honest, but I can guarantee you that would be something new that Triple G had not faced.
Orlando said, it was hot. It was hot. It was probably hotter for you in the ring. But, you know, that was a big deal, Orlando, meeting you as just a young amateur with my first national title. How huge that was. Like, oh, my God, I just met the world champ, Orlando Canizales. You know what I mean? It was huge. And I was happy I was about his size, too. I was his height and everything. I was like, oh, man, this guy, I got it. I didn't know the guy.
You usually were a shorter guy.
What?
You usually were a shorter guy.
In the amateurs?
Yeah.
No. You motherfucker.
Everybody's short to me.
Why would he say something? I just said he'd beat Golovkin. He said something shitty. Here, I was a short guy.
It's fun, man.
Bro, I was 119 pounds. I was like 5'5". That's pretty tall for 119.
That is really tall.
Do you know who I fought in that?
9.
You know who I fought in that tournament? Clarence Vinson.
Oh, from Washington.
Yes, you remember Clarence?
Yes.
I didn't
think he fought at what? 125?
Later.
Yeah, later. What did you fight? 119.
119. 125.
I can't believe I still remember those fucking weights.
Dude, I mean,
I ain't looked at a fucking amateur boxing ranking book in a long
time. I have mine still where I'm in there.
You do? I have a picture of the one.
I got the USA Boxing one with Fernando on the cover. I'm in that. I have that one. But it says, great show, champ. All's well. Keep punching. That's for you. That's Orlando says, keep punching.
Well, thanks, Orlando. I appreciate it, man. It's going good. Thank you.
Thank you, Orlando. What an honor it is to have you on. Thank you. Mikey said Kelly's half would be much for Triple G on Ellie's video today. Mikey said you would have.
Well, I seen that, yeah.
I didn't see it.
There were some good matchups. Didn't we just bring up a future?
Look, Daniel, I got my Mikey shirt on today.
I didn't get one of them.
I got an extra one. I'll give it to you.
Okay.
But no, dude, they hook you up.
What fight did we just talk about that we said we were going to bring up on the show? A dream matchup.
We brought him up.
We tapped out one, but there was another one. There was another one we just said.
And we got 15 minutes till the champ calls in, which is going to be awesome. I held at El Blano some round in El Paso. That's awesome, Sonny. That is awesome. You know what? Just getting that kind of experience. I remember sparring with my first champions. Do you remember your first champion, Kelly?
No.
You don't?
I was sparring champions out the womb.
But do you remember your first one?
Here goes the ego.
Do you remember the first one, though?
Yeah, it was Harry Arroyo.
How old were you?
12.
He put it on you?
Or 11. Yeah. Yeah, he let me get in there. I was getting a little cocky. You mentioned before, like when you start sparring with pros.
Yeah. You think you're doing something?
Yeah, and I'm in there with Harry, and I'm like, zing, 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 zing. This guy threw like a 1 mile an hour uppercut to my body, and I heard shit in my body jiggle around that I didn't even know I had. Man, I took a knee. I was like close to being hanging the gloves up for good.
I remember.
I pooped funny for a couple days.
I remember my first champion was Eddie Cook at Fort Hood, Texas, in 93, I believe. I was staying with my godparents, who was military at the time. I wasn't military; I was a kid still. But I didn't have nowhere to train. I was in Texas visiting family, so I went and trained at my godfather took me to the Army gym over there and asked if I could train. That I was a fighter, and they let me train for most of summer with them. Which inspired me to join the military a few years later, you know what I mean? When I graduated high school. But I got there, and I saw Eddie Cook, and they go, you know who that is? They said, that's the world champ. I said, really? I was like, shit, okay, because I never had a world champ, you know what I mean? And they said, you want to get around with them? I said, no. And his coach, Ronnie Hughes, said, don't be a bitch, get in there. I got in there, and this is what we were talking about. I get in there, and I'm throwing jabs, I'm throwing 1-2s, and I think I'm doing something, right? But looking back, what he was doing was he was deflecting shots off his shoulders and his elbows, and he's not breathing hard, and he's tapping my punches away, and he's tapping me with shots, and I'm hitting him, and I'm thinking, oh, this champion, it don't got shit. All of a sudden, this dude throws this right hand right down the pike. Boom, hits me right on the fucking chin. Everything blacked out for a minute, and I remember I was up against the ropes, like, and he didn't hit me hard. He hit me about 50%. I bet you or less. But they said, okay, a fighter named Orlando Hollis. Do you remember him?
No.
Great amateur. Good pro too. He got in there and he stopped it. And he goes, I said, no, don't stop it. I'm good. He goes, no, because the next sound you would have heard was, ah. He made that ambulance sound. It hit me like, dude, it's so many different levels. Daniel said, how far did you go in your amateur career? Daniel, I had 154 fights. I finished my amateur career, I think about 147-7. I had 4 national titles and 4 All-Army titles. I had a steady career. I wasn't one of the greatest amateurs. I had a steady career. There was so many better in California. I was like California's B team. You know what I mean? Wow. I didn't have the career Kelly had, or some of the other guys like Sal Garcia, or Oscar De La Hoya, or Larry Loy, or Shane Mosley. I didn't have those guys.
That's a lot of titles, though.
Well, Antonio Diaz, I was right under that level. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I was that next level guy.
I wasn't in the AMs long enough where it counted.
See, and another thing I remember was funny was me and our writer, Simon Rubalcava, were in the Army together. We went to basic training together. And we were in the same platoon. And right away, he could tell we did those, those pugil sticks where they get those sticks with the helmets and they beat the shit out of each other?
Oh, yeah. Like it was on Gladiator?
Yes. And we did that. Well, Simon was watching me that day. And the guy was swinging it, and I kept ducking it, and I kept slipping to the side. And Simon goes, you a boxer? I said, yeah. He goes, are you? He goes, yeah, you're a boxer too. After that, we became like training buddies at night where everybody was on the phone calling their wives and their girlfriends and their mom. We'd go running.
Yeah, why? Did you guys train at separate times before that?
Oh, he was up in Tahoe. I was in Los Angeles. And you know what, Simon? I sparred with Golden Johnson too in Killeen, Texas. I remember that. He was really good too.
I remember Golden Johnson.
Yeah. Simon sparred John Lark when he was 14 and traded cards. Yeah, he was up north. You know what I mean? I remember Simon's name coming up on bout sheets, and I remember his name. I remember when his name popped up when he fought Kirkland. I remember back towards like in the early 2000s when his name came up against Kirkland. I was like, oh shit, I know Simon. I was keeping track of things he was doing. You know what I mean? After that, I would check, but it wasn't Rubalcava at the time. It was Simon Pena, and I would keep track of his because I was in Europe.
Did he take his wife's last name?
I think his mom's. But what had happened was
Simon.
He was at Fort Hood, and I was in Europe, and I would keep track of the sheets of everything that was going on between us because I was competing with him. He just didn't know it. You know what I mean?
What do you think, Viking Herm? I thought Vikings didn't play on electronics.
They don't play on electronics. A Viking Herm was the capital of Thailand.
Bangkok.
Oh.
Got him. Got him. Well, I'm just over there enjoying myself because while you two diddlies are diddling your diddly-doos about Canelo and Triple G and calling people, I have Viking things to attend to. I'm just calling and checking that Sven is all right at home and, my mini pony. And
you got a Viking class reunion?
No. Usually in the classes of Vikings, there isn't many left. We go to battle, and not all of us come back. So
Viking Herman, this is a good time to mention this, but I'm not quite sure if you're a real Viking.
Yeah, who's a Viking?
Well, I'm really not sure that you're a boxer anymore. But I guess if we want to play, roles anymore,
tit for tat.
Yeah, So speaking of boxing, why don't you keep pretending like you know what's going on?
You see, he don't give me shit. You see that? Because I'm respectful to Vikings. I'm a fucking respectful Viking lover, but you don't watch the show and you're a dick to Vikings. You're a fucking asshole, Kelly. You're a fucking asshole.
Here's what it is, man.
How they say it in Canada, you're a fucking asshole, Kelly.
Here's my thing with Viking Herm. I'm just trying to break the ice. You know what I mean? Like, be able to bust
We
balls.
broke the ice.
Motherfucker, I live in ice.
We broke the ice 2 months ago with Viking Herm.
No, because you see, you can take a dick in the butt, but he can't take a joke.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It says here, Simon has Pena. Pena is my mom's last name, just like Floyd Mayweather was born Floyd Sinclair. It's true.
I know.
True.
I was.
Yeah.
Wow.
What's up, George? How you doing? No, guys, and you know what? Getting back on the fights, I know we were talking about amateurs and all that, and I know everybody don't want to hear that shit, but it goes back to we're answering questions about what we do and stuff like that. But I'll tell you what I am looking forward to, guys, is Conor McGregor and Khabib. I'm really looking forward to the fight, and I got Khabib winning that fight. I'm a big MMA fan. Kelly's learning to be an MMA fan. He's doing it.
But fights are fights.
Fights are fights.
And being out that long, I think I don't care who McGregor fought. That's going to be a little bit of octagon rust.
I agree, but you know, McGregor was one of the harder trainers out there. He trained, but it's not the same as well as you know. Daniel said, did they sign Wilder and Fury yet? Did they?
I haven't heard anything.
I haven't heard anything, Daniel. We hear so much different shit, but if it does happen, I got Wilder winning the fight. I can't even front that I think Fury's going to win that. Fury is a good boxer. He just doesn't have enough firepower.
I am not picking out one till I see more training camp pictures and
what Fury comes in to 350 Fury or 285
because
Fury?
It's one of the fights where it's not out of the question at all for Fury to win that fight with his style and being the size that he is. It's not
right. But guys, we have a fucking great show today. We have a UFC Bantamweight champion TJ Dillashaw. I want to thank my family and your family, Roger Romo, for bringing him on because that is huge. And that's such a big deal for us. And we have my friend and your homie too, Matt Brown. And Matt Brown is one of the tough guys in the MMA. If you ever look, Matt Brown is one of those guys that...
I want to bet against Matt Brown.
I want to bet against Matt Brown. He owes me a shirt. Perry, hey Dylan, how are you doing, buddy? But Perry, what's next for Mungia, Kelly?
I don't know. They're going to have to move him a little bit.
The only thing I think, Kelly, for Mungia is they just need to keep moving him.
Yeah.
What I was going to ask you a question, Kelly. If you were training Mungia, what would you do? If you were his trainer, what things would you improve on Mungia? I see a lot of flaws.
I don't want people to come down on me when I say this, but he just needs to work on shortening his punches a little more due to the fact that he don't have fast hands, and I don't know how fast you can make him. I don't know what type of training is out there unless you do a lot of fast twitch muscle or something with him to get speed. But he just genetically he don't have hand speed. He moves slow.
Does he remind you of a smaller version of Gilberto Ramirez?
Yes. Besides, I think Gilberto has a little more hand speed. Honestly,
but they fight the same way. They're built the same way.
Same size.
They look like they're from the same neighborhood in Mexico. They're both tall as fuck for being Mexican.
Exactly. Because, so going on, I'm not trying to be mean when I say this either. I'm really not.
You're a mean motherfucker,
but
Kelly.
He hits hard. So maybe keep your punches. When I say shorten them up, he gets hit a lot. So if he shortens them up, he's still going to have that power. And keep everything compact so he can take the punches and hopefully knock people out. Other than that, I don't know how.
Perry, he said, does he remind you of Fernando Vargas? My primo? No. I'll tell you a fighter that does. I'll tell you a fighter that does remind me of Fernando Vargas is Virgil Ortiz Jr. Reminds me of Fernando Vargas. Maybe not the same mentality, the same attitude, because Fernando Vargas was a fucking killer. He was a monster. But work ethic, fighting style, and ferociousness. Virgil Ortiz Jr. You're looking at the future of boxing with Virgil. The kid is 12-0 or 11-0 and just took a guy out of 35-3. And then his last fight, he beat the guy who knocked Linares out in the first round.
Hey, look, Dan Steven Seagal. Hello, Vatos.
Dan! I love Dan. Oh, his son's coming to play Ursuline, and we're going to be there.
Yes, we are.
See, Dan?
I don't like his chin up.
I don't either, Simon. It chin sits straight up in the air like a wedding dick.
And that makes him slower, too. It makes the punch slower.
It does, because it's when the chin's up like that, it's pulling muscle fibers and it's tension and you're not as fast.
And obviously you're gonna get knocked out too. Roger, he pops up. Roger popped up because
Roger says. But like I said, Virgil reminds me of Fernando, but he's not Fernando. Nobody is. And I'm not just saying that because it's Fernando. I'm just saying Fernando set the bar for boxing with that.
Fernando was the true definition of boxer puncher.
Yes. And you know what? Let me tell you one thing about Fernando. He had the best balance in the sport. I've never seen anybody's balance better than Fernando Vargas. I dare any of you guys to look at Fernando Vargas's balance and tell me his balance wasn't fucking awesome.
Exactly. That's why I say the boxer puncher. He was sharp. Yep. He made good moves, and he could hit. And he fought that way. He moved. He didn't dance, but he stayed in front. He did made inches and angles.
Yep.
Made the right moves and
let me tell you what. As good as Fernando was, he peaked against Raul Marquez and Ike Corte. And the night he fought Raul Marquez, he was the best fighter in the world that night. He was the best fighter in the world. And then the night he fought Ike Corte was another night that people counted Fernando out against Ike Corte. Oh, Corte's going to jab Fernando. Fernando out-jabbed Ike Corte, which is not supposed to happen. You were not supposed to out-jab him.
No, the bazooka. The jab was a bazooka.
Vince Phillips told us one time. Vince Phillips, he was an Army fighter too. When he fought Ike Corte, he said that dude's jab felt like he was getting hit with a baseball bat. You know what I mean? So, and I thought, shit, but.
Yeah, Roger, that's what I said. The inches and angles and pivots, the angles comes off of pivoting.
Well, and you know what Fernando did that a lot of fighters didn't do at the time? We talk about a lot, Kelly. He took that big toe and he'd put it right on his opponent's pinky toe, and he would rotate around him. And those fighters did not know how to combat that at the time. And most don't still to this day. It takes a special fighter. I'm not being mean. I'm not. But I was surprised that you did that because a lot of white fighters don't do that. And you reversed in that. Whoever taught you that, was that something that you were taught, or did you just naturally do it?
I don't feel like answering the rest of this question from your racist ass.
They don't do it, Kelly.
It's horrible.
They don't. Paul Spadafora did it.
Are you on the HBO team that we're not going to show any white fighters from the Midwest? That was horrible.
I'm just saying.
Sorry, man.
I'm just saying.
At least he doesn't hate Vikings.
I love Vikings.
Yeah, right?
Hey, I peeled my banana to Lagatha the other night.
No, I did mine because that was a big thing in my work,
but
especially early on in the amateurs. Early on in amateurs, I learned that from watching fighters.
But you weren't taught. You learned it from fighters.
From
you learned it from Mexican and Puerto Rican fighters, right?
Absolutely not. There wasn't many Mexican and Puerto Rican fighters in Youngstown.
You weren't TV. You didn't learn it.
I watched some fights on TV, but there was guys like Craig Kikta, who was a good white guy who could move pretty good.
But
Harry Arroyo
would come to you.
I watched a lot of, as I got older. I watched a lot of Sugar Ray Leonard's. So, the
motherfuckers are boxes of rocks.
You can shove that up the butt.
No, but that's what I'm saying. Like, I learned a lot of things like this from watching Wilfred Benitez. When I was a kid, I used to watch. We had VHS tapes. Kelly probably don't remember that because he was too young for VHS tapes. You know what I mean?
No, I wasn't.
Kelly was a DVD guy.
Now listen, I almost got myself caught a lot of times
a millennial
trying to watch porn on VHS.
Is it porn or a wedding? VHS roulette?
That was a funny meme, too.
Play VHS roulette. Is it a porn or a wedding? I've done that before.
Because the thing is with the porn, you sit there and you rewind it, and like it's roll out, it goes.
Yep.
And then you hit it, and it goes.
Dude.
And then sometimes it would break inside the VCR, and there was no real way to fucking.
Oh, you ever get caught watching porn on the VCR by your parents?
No, but I'm pretty sure at 1 o'clock in the morning in a small house on the south side of Youngstown, they hear. I did that with a DVD.
Did you? You know what's funny? I used to post up by the TV like maybe a foot with the remote, and they'd go, and they could hear, you know what I mean?
You could hear it. Yeah.
I would hear somebody walk out, and I would shut it off real quick. Do you know how hard it is to shut a VHS off with your banana in your hand and spit in the other hand, and you're trying to shut the fucking...
That wasn't even controllers were mine. You had to get them push it.
Oh, yeah. We had that thing, but I watched this
video.
you
could hear that all through the fucking house.
See, I remember Skinamax. You might be having that Showtime, but I remember Skinamax. Oh, a nipple. Oh, an ass.
Do you remember?
No, he's a millennial.
Oh, he's a millennial. Do you remember though? I found this tape in the crawl space or house. We have this little crawl space, right? And it said Dad's tape. I go, Dad's tape? It must be something really good. I turned it in and it was these pirates fucking each other. You know what I mean? I was like, score. Bro, that went from Dad's tape to James's tape overnight.
Dude.
And you know, my dad wasn't gonna say shit with who had his tape because it would have got him in trouble. You know what I mean?
I got caught one time, fucking in my house. So I left the DVD running all night too. So it was the one that just kept playing the beginning part over and over. And it was my brother Michael was my brother Michael was living with me at the time, right? So it just kept going. So my wife, it was after my bachelor party. She comes in and it's fucking just blaring right on the 32-inch TV. And she's like, what the hell? I was like, I told Michael to quit watching that. She thought it was him. Oh, shit.
My brother, when I was younger, you know, remember those big aircraft carriers you could buy? Maybe Justin remembers them. There were these big cardboard aircraft carriers. Remember, Justin? They're about 7 foot and they cost about $100. Remember that? And they were so fucking detailed. Well, I spent about 3 months on this 7-foot monstrosity of the USS Enterprise. Fighter jets, everything on it, 7 foot long. I get done. I come home from school one day. I open my fucking door. I see my brother laid out with his pants around his ankles, with his dick in his hand, laying on top of my aircraft carrier, jacking off.
Did you help?
Bro, I was shocked. I was like, are you fucking serious? I said, this dude's jacking off on a cardboard aircraft carrier, laying on an F-14 Tomcat.
Because he was a seaman.
Dude, there was an F-14 Tomcat from the Jolly Roger Squadron up his fucking ass while he's jacking off. Oh, no. I just shut the door and I snitched on him. He broke my aircraft carrier.
Could you imagine your mom going in and inspecting that one?
Mom was dead by now, thank God. You know what I mean? Yeah. That's probably what put her in an early grave. And my dad said, you owe him an aircraft carrier, you cochino. Bro, and it was, you know what remember those little hustler books? What were those little books? They were like they had stories. Remember those?
Oh, Penthouse.
They were like forums, but it was Hustler in his little book. And he's reading it, and the pants are off on the aircraft carrier. Ruined the whole thing was smashed. You know what I mean?
I think somebody really got issues, though, if you really open those books up and read them.
Dude, they were great. Well, maybe.
Get past the picture, dude.
There were no pictures. They were black and white.
Kelly's just mad because he doesn't know how to read.
You don't have to know how to read with one of those books.
Kelly Mayweather.
I call bullshit because I read fairly well.
Oh, TJ's running a little late. Business meeting, take him long. He just texted me. No problem, Roger. We'll be here. But hey, guys, let's get back to boxing. We're talking about masturbation. We're sorry, but we'll get back to boxing.
Getting caught red-handed.
Just getting caught white-handed.
Yeah. Or would it be purple-handed?
But I did peel my banana Lagatha. A season 1 Lagatha. Do you remember?
I believe that was
before she became so hardcore.
Yeah, covered in mud.
Yes, and blood.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Viking Herm wouldn't know. He had clinicals.
Yes, he has it on. He has it recorded.
Yeah, I have it on demand.
Yeah, he does.
It's on Comcast. You know, we non-rich people have to do Comcast. We don't have direct TV like you do.
I'm sure your longboat comes out after watching a little bit of that.
Much sailing is done when that comes.
All the little sailors paddling too.
Oh yeah.
Oh, Simon, my dad kept Playboys in a drawer in the closet, and my mom found them, threw them into the woods down the street, and then all of us in the neighborhood would go until the first time it rained and check them out. It was amazing. This is a really funny story coming from the comedy show Friday night. But it was amazing how many kids suddenly wanted to go outside and play with the other kids. And I wanted to say their names, but I called them Renee. Who was talking about that?
Joe Rogan.
Yeah, about
he was talking about he had to walk 5 miles to go find a porn. Remember his dirty magazines? Funny. He walked 5 miles out there. Dude, I found one time. My mom was driving the car. She was driving, and I saw a porn magazine when she was slowing to make a turn. It was 7 miles from my fucking house. The porn magazine. Guess what I did? I walked 7 miles to go get that porn book. And I put it in my pants, and I walked 7 miles home. Porn was hard to find back then. We didn't have it on demand. We didn't have it on video. You had to search out, and it was
two older brothers.
Dude, it was one of those good porn magazines, the glossy pictures. You know, the glossy ones? And it had the chicks with, like, bruises and tattoos. One of those kind. You know what I mean?
The real good ones have the money shot.
Oh, yeah. And right on the cover, right? Bro, I put it in a game. Remember the game Go, the Japanese marble game? It's a game called Go, and it was a Japanese, like, little pebbles. It was a Japanese pebble game. It was, like, really like a samurai type game. I put it in there because I know no one was smart enough for my family to play that game. They would never go into that box. That motherfucker sat there for, like, 10 years. I found it as an adult. Like, ooh. It was like throwing away an old family member. You know what I mean?
See, they may have been hard to come by, but I had 2 older brothers that were 6 and 4 years older than me. So, like, right in my peeling the banana heyday, my brother Michael was already 18 and was able to get them. You know what I'm saying? Like, 18, 19 he was.
Yeah.
Then right across the street, my buddy Louie, I'm calling you out, Louie. He was 18. Dude, I was like in heaven. Now that I think about it, I was spoiled. I mean, I'd look under the bed.
Bro, they were supporting your cock.
Yeah, they used to keep him up above.
No, you had to make do, didn't you?
You remember 2:30 in the morning, Girls Gone Wild?
Yes, the commercial.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, doonga 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 doong. That sound.
The technology on the TV wasn't as
And it
good.
was the same loop, wasn't it? It was a loop for an hour and a half, wasn't it?
That was the best 15 seconds of my 14-year-old life.
Let me tell you what really sucked about that. You'd wait to that 89th minute to get your banana, and all of a sudden the Bowflex pops on halfway through, like, you motherfucker! Because that Bowflex commercial come on halfway after remember that?
I know Total Jim would come on after, and then I would come on, and then I'd feel weird because Chuck Norris just came out of nowhere.
It was Chuck Norris and Suzanne Summers pop out of nowhere with my dick in my hand.
Yeah,
right?
well, Suzanne Summers, you could have. Fuck, hell yeah, even at 90 years old, Suzanne
Okay,
Summers.
guys, we're back to
But still, I mean, I don't even know how you guys talk about watching it that long. Like, I never got past the opening credits of the fucking porno.
He never got past the opening credits when he was done.
As soon as you started, like, I was like, I'm done.
As soon as the warning copyright scene would come up, Kelly'd be like, well, time to roll over.
My show was like
pursuant to U.S. Title Code 192.
On the VHS, it was potluck.
You know what I'm talking about?
I hit fucking fast forward, and then I would like open my eyes, hit play. Whatever popped on was what I was getting.
Yeah, hey, we got a question on it. TJ versus Tank, who you got? Don't put us on the spot, Siren. We don't know. TJ, I didn't know that was a thing right now. Tank versus Dillashaw's not a boxer. Tank is. You know, it's kind of hard to say. I don't know, but Simon said, have you, speaking of bananas, was there ever a memorable low blow you got hit with, Kelly?
Yeah.
Who hit you?
I can't remember. It was the amateur fight.
You never in the pros. You never really got blasted.
No, not in that.
You were too fucking tall, dude.
Yeah, but in the amateurs, I got hit, and then the bottom of the cup that goes down by the tank.
Yeah, that rolled up in there.
Yeah, I got hit like on the top, and then I don't know however the fuck, but that thing went right back up in that tank.
Do you remember when do you remember when it would? Do you remember when it would shift to the side, that cup, and it would hit you and hit the side of your balls?
I never had that.
Oh my God! Well, it was remember the cheap ringside?
You know the issue. I don't think you had enough junk in the cup to stop it from sliding over.
I got a BMW. I got a big Mexican weenie.
That's streets.
No, but remember those little white title or ringside ones? Remember the little white cups, the little black?
Oh yeah,
yeah, those would shift.
The red,
yeah, and that shift and would fuck you up.
That didn't take much for those either.
No, those were like the ones we passed around.
The red stripe in the middle, black.
Yes,
the black and red band with the red stripe.
Yes,
yeah.
You pass them around to everybody.
Everybody in the gym wore it.
Yeah,
not sweating there. And
Simon has a question. Maybe you can pull it all the way up.
Well, when Riddick Bowe complained about how hard the low blows were from Galata, I thought back then that it was full of shit because I had never been hurt by a low blow. But as you get older, you feel them. I used to hate that. They hurt your stomach just as bad as a good body shot.
No
yes,
shit.
they did.
Yeah, they fucking hurt. And but Siren says they have a beef. Got Tank destroying TJ though. You know what though? We'll have TJ on. We'll talk about it. But Siren, it's UFC or MMA. I'm not gonna say UFC. That just pigeonholes the whole. But MMA and boxing are two different sports. It's apples and oranges. That's like saying can Kobe Bryant beat Mike Trout in baseball? You know what I mean? Two different fucking sports. So
it is.
But let me tell you what. Put Tank's ass in an octagon and see what happens. He would have to put a muzzle on Tank so he didn't fuck him. You know what I mean?
Just kiss him while he was fucking him.
I mean, you just. You know what? And I agree. You know what? Joe Rogan talked about that. We talked with Joe Rogan. He said there's going to come a time where the guy has high level boxing and has high level jiu-jitsu and high level. There's that day coming.
You want to know who I think would be the first one that could do it?
Who?
And everybody would be like,
Lomachenko.
Everybody would be like, you're totally a dick rider. But I think Lomachenko is the first one that will be able to do that.
But let me tell you something about Lomachenko. He practices martial arts. He has a purple belt in jiu-jitsu. He has a black belt in sambo, and he kickboxing and boxing. That dude could be a monster. Yep. But does he want to?
And his footwork is good enough to defend a lot of shit.
Yes. Gerson,
we should get him into that and promote him.
Ortero Gerson, good guy. He said, salute from Florida, Kelly and James. Taking this opportunity to let you know I'm sharing. Thank you so much, Ortero. We really appreciate it. And I mean, you guys are the ones that make this show. You know what I mean? Everybody that watches, fuck. we couldn't do this without you.
Roger Romo goes, and let me tell you one thing. I think TJ can make a good transition to boxing if he really wanted to.
I agree, Roger. I've seen him train. I agree.
Who would know? Roger, you would know.
Roger trains him.
That's what I'm saying.
I would. But, you know, like I said, I'm not keep bringing Rogan up, but Rogan said the same thing. He's one of those guys that he's athletic.
And we're not saying that because we just hung out with Rogan, but that was Rogan's job. Is he knows UFC inside out. And
he breaks down fights.
He's done it. You know, so he's competed.
He's competed at Taekwondo, never UFC.
Yeah, UFC, but martial arts.
He's completed at Olympic level Taekwondo and also has a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu himself, which is under Eddie Bravo at 10th Planet, which is highly respected jiu-jitsu school, you know? What? Are you talking about 10th Planet? This motherfucker!
He's whispering.
Well, not everybody can be under Vitor Oliveira like some people.
He sparred
and Dan
Fozzy.
Siegel.
So he sparred Fozzy and held his own. Damn.
What?
Roger said he sparred Fozzy.
Fozzy is a monster, man. He's an Olympic gold medalist.
Yep.
But, yeah, he sparred and held his own.
I got pee.
Go ahead. Go piss.
You gonna hold the fort down?
I'll hold the fort. Go ahead.
Hey, sit down with him, Viking Herm.
Come sit down over here, Viking Herm. Come sit down on the chair. Siéntate aquí. Come on.
I'll keep it warm for you.
Siéntate aquí.
Just speak Spanish.
And welcome back to the Punchline with James Dominguez and
Viking Herm.
And Kelly Pavlik with a helmet.
And Viking Herm.
And Viking Herm. I'm just kidding. Viking Herm.
So, do you watch MMA, Viking Herm?
I do, yes.
And who are some of your favorite fighters?
Well, to be honest, I hate to admit it. I did like the idea of Brock Lesnar. I really did.
And you know what, Viking Herm? Brock Lesnar was an amazing fucking athlete. And he was one of those guys that I wish he would have stayed with the MMA because I think he was a better mixed martial arts wrestler.
I really feel like he got a bad rap. I think a lot of people, when he left WWE for a minute and he went there, they said, oh, he was garbage. I really didn't like that. I like to give people the benefit of the doubt. And well, you look at Ronda Rousey. You know, she left UFC and went to WWE. Although,
I think she pretty much cashed herself out eventually. I mean, you can only be good at one thing so long without making adjustments. And she never made the adjustments that she needed. But Siren says 20 watchers sad. It's not sad. We get these kind of numbers, 35, 20, but most of our watchers happen throughout the week, Siren. We make big numbers throughout the week. So
before you got here, we were up to like 42 at one time.
Yeah, it just depends. We started talking about masturbation and we went down that rabbit hole and we lost half of them.
Yeah.
But like I said, we don't give a shit.
We definitely lost some oomph there.
Yeah, well, like I said, it doesn't matter. Like I said, we talked about that rabbit hole of jacking off to Vikings and aircraft carriers and Cinemax and DVD movies and Dad's tape, and we kind of just
that'll do it. It'll
every fucking time.
It'll make your
time.
It'll make your show go real limp
every time.
9
times out of 10, you'll get a limp show.
Yep.
If I had $1 for every time my show went limp, I wouldn't be here right now. I'd be on a deserted island somewhere. You know what I mean, with my own fucking Fiji hut.
Yeah, well, I think Kelly, we got to tell him he's taking a pee. Shake it once, it's fine. Shake it twice.
You're just playing with yourself.
That's right, yeah. Speak
Thank you, good Charlotte.
Speak of the ghosts.
Thank you, good fucking Charlotte.
All the VHS.
And you know what? Damon has a good one. Inoue versus Payano. You know what? Inoue is just one of those guys that's another level above anybody else. Damon, I agree. I'm big on Inoue, and I always have been. I think he's a level above everybody else. He's like Lomachenko with the smaller weights. What do you think? Inoue versus Payano?
Inoue again on that though. I got to see a little more. I mean, I'm sorry. I personally with him, I think he's a little reckless, crazy. But I guess he could get away with it too.
So was Lomachenko in the beginning.
Yeah, but I tell you what, he could hit though, especially for that weight class. He'd be able to hit that hard.
Siren says, James, what's your dream fight? Anyway, Crawford Spence. Crawford Spence is my dream fight, 147. I think,
but I'm so irritated right now because I had that one. We talked about it too. We mentioned the one, and then there was another one I threw out.
We did talk about one, didn't we?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think Crawford and Spence is the fight that I look forward to the most. Well, take in and Rudy Hernandez, and I will say this, guys. Rudy Hernandez had Triple G 116, 112 over Canelo, and I could see how he came to that score. I could honestly see how he came to that score himself. The same way I came to 1530 for Canelo. It just depends what you're looking for in fights. Some people score fights different, and I'm not I don't have the balls to argue with Rudy's score because Rudy knows more about this sport in his pinky than I'll fucking ever know. You know what I mean? You could fit in the Grand Canyon, the shit I don't know. But I'm not going to argue with Rudy on his score. But I can see where some of the people came with their score for Triple G. But also, as a token, I wonder if they can see where we came from on our scores. You know what I mean?
I don't care who it is in boxing. I would argue to point my reasoning behind it. What Canelo did.
Siren, you know what? I would love to say Crawford, but I don't know. I really don't have a decision. I have that fight 50-50 right now. What do you think, Spence or Crawford, Kelly?
I got Spence.
Do you?
I do.
You know what? Oh, guys, quick question. Training, rehydration, any secrets, or just water, Gatorade, body armor drink? You want to take this or me?
I like the, I got the Pedialyte in me.
Pedialyte's
I
good.
didn't, not too much of it. It's not made for adults, but it does give you the electric lights to try to rehydrate.
Yeah.
And then lots of water. I mean, that day, lots of water is water. And I started off, I ate fairly good, but your stomach shrunk. You don't want to give yourself the shits, whether it's the day or the same day before.
Stay away from grape. Grape Pedialyte and grape will give you shits of anything.
Yeah, we just did like clear.
Yeah. Well, I was telling Esteban, grape Gatorade, grape Pedialyte will cause shits. Something in it makes you shit. Do you remember taking the grape when you were younger? Like, oh, fuck, what just happened here?
No, we didn't drink Pedialyte when we were young.
You didn't? Oh shit. We'd have it legit.
Water,
But we had that cheap Walmart Pedialyte. Remember the off-brand that was like Baby Time or something? Had the little pacifier on it. Oh, there we go. Have some Baby Time.
I drank mead when I was little. I didn't have.
I know.
I didn't have Pedialyte.
Gavin goes, Kelly, does your ass feel different knowing Viking Hearn was sitting there? Yeah, it feels a little.
He farted. He farted.
Did he?
He rubbed his balls on there.
It feels a little pillaged.
It was pillaged. But Esteban, to answer your question, I'm going to tell you, if your goal is to cut body fat, which you don't have much body fat to cut, but I mean, if that's your goal, Gatorade is probably not the best way to go. You're adding unneeded sugar to your body. Water has worked for 100,000 years. Water will continue to work. I mean, if you want to, honestly, if you want to put some of the sugars and things like that, like I said, 1% chocolate milk, we'll put that back. You don't Gatorade and body armor and all that is good. It's cool stuff, but you're paying more money for fat.
Again, that all just comes down to like, what's the situation?
What's your goals, right?
Yeah. What do you got going? If you're talking about if you have to fight the next day, obviously the first couple of hours after making weight where you're able to drink something would be water. The Pedialyte would be the first, and then drink a shitload of water after that.
Yes.
Then that night, if you want to screw around and have a little bit of pop with your food or something that's not going to kill you. I did all the time.
Yeah.
That's later on after I had a lot of water, and I drank water after that.
Like what you said too, Kelly, what we talked about the other day, a lot of people don't realize like pop, like real sugar in the pop and sugar in the chocolate milk, it is a delivery system of glycogen. And what that does is when you work out heavy and you got that heavy lifting or that heavy cardio and you feel run down, what that does is that sugar pushes that glycogen through your muscles and rebuilds your muscles really fast. And that's why sometimes having that root beer or having that Coke, and not a crazy amount, you don't need a 2 liter, but maybe 8 ounces. Just something.
It's dark chocolate.
Dark
is
chocolate.
phenomenal.
Oh, dark chocolate candy bar by itself? Yes.
Right, and a good kind too.
Hershey's dark.
No, I said actually that's the one I said stay away from.
Hershey Special?
Yeah.
But you get some of those ones like from Europe, those ones, those are, yeah. I need to cut my shot. Hey, Jeff, you ain't bullshit, man. I was there, buddy, and I'm still working every day.
Kelly, what was your biggest fight day weight gain? When Lemieux came in at 180 and O'Sullivan wasn't trying to avoid him early, I knew he had caught it would be over. Mine was the Sergio Martinez fight.
What was your weight?
183, and there's nothing I could do about that. It was so dehydrated that, and we tried replenishing, and that was mainly all fluid, just trying to replenish what we lost from the days of not having that in me, and it didn't go. It went for naught.
How did who managed your water intake for those fights?
When after?
No, prior to the
Well, we did.
No, I know, but who was in charge of your water intake? Like, did you have a conditioning guy?
No,
a nutritionist? No,
but it never bothered. It was never a problem. Water is water. I mean, you could actually have a lot of water because your body will.
Oh yeah, but do you think later in your career, do you think that would have helped more? A nutritionist and things like that later?
Oh, I had him. When you
had Adam and
we brought one in for Martinez.
Did it help?
No.
No.
I mean, And again, who knows? Well, I can't say that though, because
do you think if you had a guy like Cecilio, then it would have made a big difference?
No, not for. I think my body was just totally past the 160.
Yeah.
Again, more guys like Jermaine Taylor did, Bernard Hopkins did. I just think that was at that point where my body was done making that weight.
Damon says, does anybody care about Groves, Callum Smith? Yeah, I mean, I care about it. I have Groves winning, Damon. What do you think, Groves and Callum Smith? You know, a lot of those fights in England.
Oh, I know that. I'll go with Groves.
Simon has a thing on it. After his fight with James Kirkland, he was dehydrated, went to the hospital. They had him eat. I can't pull the rest up.
Hospital, and they had me eat a bowl of Snickers and Milky Way.
Because they're right.
To get the sugar flowing in my brain.
That glycogen.
Scott, no, I always made weight. I never not made weight. That Martinez fight, now that I think about it, I wish I would have just said, screw it, strip me of the belt. That 1.5 pounds or 2 pounds, if I would have came in, that would have made a world of difference. Not so much because I was heavier, but just because of what I had to go through. That extra 2 pounds was brutal. That was hours upon hours with nothing in my system for days to try to make that. It was my last fight at middleweight anyways, so.
Hey, Scott Best, our buddy Scott, has a question for you, Kelly. Did you ever not make weight?
I just said that I always made weight.
Always made weight.
Yeah.
Did I always make weight? No, I did not.
Yeah, you said the one you did.
I missed weight. Scott was there. Scott remembers that.
That really wasn't that was hard. Because you're on weight when you checked it.
The scale wasn't calibrated. I just got back from Barcelona, Spain. I had the USRA Nationals in Italy. And I was fighting at 156. And I remember I got on the scale. It said 153.5 the day prior. So I said, shit, I'm 3 pounds under. So we got on the bus for that 12-hour ride to Italy. And I had a cucumber sandwich. That was it. And a little little piece of like some kind of ham. I don't know what the fuck it was. And a liter of water because they sell liters. And that's all I had for the 12 hours. I got there and I weighed in. And I weighed in 173.8 pounds. I was like, holy shit. I was, at that moment, I was the captain of the team. They took my captain. They took the captain right away from me. And then they almost sent me home from Italy back to Germany, flew me back home. You know,
on that, and this is true, I don't know how true, but I believe it, and this came from top people and dietitians and everything. When you travel, and traveling in a car a long distance is the same as flying, the bloating in the stomach and shit like that's why people get constipated after flying or long car rides, and you will weigh heavier after a long trip like that.
I had no idea. Is that and 12 hours probably put some weight.
12 hours is a lot. Like 6-7 hours, you know, should be going to New York.
But I honestly think too, though. I think at the time I was just I wasn't training the right way. You know what I mean? I just wasn't. You know, sometimes when you're an amateur, you train yourself most of the time. You're just not training the right way.
Well, that could have been it. But let me add this siren real quick. Okay. What was the reason you retired?
I want to get to Damon's too.
Listen, I'll sum it up. I was at the end that, you know, I was kind of just losing it. There was no big fights out there. I fought the 3 when I went with Garcia. And I was just kind of like, I was tired of sport. And then we had the fight with Andre Ward that was supposed to be signed. He ended up getting a shoulder injury. Then there was definitely no fight out there because the Super 6 was still finishing up. There's a lot of fights that were tied up for like another year. At that point, I didn't want to do it. I didn't want to leave home away from my kids, and I was done. That was the main reason.
Yeah. Damon has one. I can't finish the whole question. It's as for the record, 100%, I can see where points can be made for the Canelo win. His work was elite level.
I just saw Golovkin do slightly more mid and late rounds.
I saw a jab from Golovkin. I didn't see him do more. Canelo punched in combination, and he punched hard. He landed the harder shots. And most judging doesn't weigh heavy on a jab unless there's defense there. And I will say this though, Kelly, I think Canelo traded some of his defense from the first fight to stand still and punch back because I think he gave up some of the defense. I don't think he was defensively as good as he was in the first fight.
No. You know, because he fought a different style.
He fought a different fight.
And going back on that with Damon, Golovkin, Triple G won some of the later rounds because he landed some big shots. But I'm gonna, like a broken record, I'm going to go back over. But that does not take away the early rounds. And people talk about a jab. A jab is supposed to set people up
for
and do damage. Shot. And that jab wasn't. He was actually the reason why Triple G was utilizing that jab so much was because he was deathly afraid, and he was afraid if he did anything else that he would get caught in that body with shots and that he would get hit with the uppercuts. That's why he didn't do anything else besides jab. Canelo beat him at that. That jab was to try to keep himself away from Canelo.
Yeah.
It wasn't for him to set up his power shots. He did pick it up late in the fight, but he was a little too late picking it up.
Yeah. Oh, Christopher, yeah, it turned out the scale in Germany, where I left at, was not calibrated correctly. The scale in Italy was right. So I was actually probably 170 before I even left. You know what I mean? I was already 170 when I left. Probably 168, 170, somewhere around there. So I thought I was that weight the whole time. I was 10 pounds over the whole time. I shouldn't have even competed. So I didn't compete. I went there and got a walkover. They got a walkover on me, and the guy won a championship on a walkover. And it was funny because it was the same guy that I beat 2 years in a row, and this motherfucker didn't have a chance, so he beats me by a walkover. It would have been my 5th title, you know that?
Yeah.
It would have been my 5th title because I'd have knocked him out like I did last year. My pop always said the jab was the initiator, and he's absolutely right. The jab is what starts to finish, should start and finish any. It should. But
again, I want you guys to tell me in the first 6 rounds what that jab did to set up. I would love to watch it with you guys and show me where that set anything up besides the fact of Canelo catching him with brutal body shots and good shot punches.
Jeff Schumann has something for you, Kelly.
I think you proved all you needed to, Kelly. You should sleep well at night. Did it with style too, brother. Hey, thanks, Jeff. I really appreciate that, man.
And you know, the one thing I will say about Kelly too is he never badmouthed his opponent. He never talked down to his opponent. He never yelled. He never got into fights, and he always did it with class, which is cool.
I built him up, made me look better.
You know what I will say though, Kelly?
Like Gary Logan. Gary Logan knows what the fuck you know. Gary Logan, I seen that cat kill bears out in the wild, like Mike and Herm. I built him up, so it made me look better.
David says Triple G was landing a clean overhand right and clean right uppercut, and I agree it was much too little. And I don't have the rest of that because it's hard for me to pull that up.
Triple G was landing clean overhand right and clean right uppercut. And I agree, it was much too little too late. And it was. And a couple of them later rounds, if Triple G would have won them all, then you have a draw. Maybe. But Canelo, I felt Canelo stole some of them later rounds. I want to say it was like, I can't remember, 9, 10, maybe the 11th, I think. And you know what? The 12th round, that was up for grabs. And nobody could tell me that Triple G won that round convincingly.
But I will say this. Canelo should have picked up the pace on that 12th round just to try to put it in the bag because that fight was too close to even...
Yeah.
But
so going back on
easier said than done when you're fucking exhausted. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So going back on it, if you had to fight a draw, definitely could see it. If you had Triple G winning the fight, you're not crazy. You do know what you're talking about. I mean, nobody's going to say, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. But from our picks... that was what happened. When we broke down the fight, we broke it down exactly how it played out. And we're not getting cocky or we're not some kind of fucking gurus. That's not what we're saying. But prior to, and anybody will tell you who's watched the show from 2 or 3 weeks ago, we said for Golovkin to win, or for Canelo to win this fight, he was going to have to go to Golovkin's body because nobody ever goes to Golovkin's body. Mm-hmm. He was going to have to back Golovkin up because Golovkin cannot fight off his back foot, as of most power punchers can't fight off the back foot. And just like Miranda couldn't fight off his back foot, Golovkin couldn't, and Gerald McClellan couldn't fight off the back foot. Julian Jackson couldn't. That's just the way they're built. It ain't. And Triple G looked frustrated in those middle rounds and early rounds. He did.
You know what really got me? He was sucking wind, like the way. And then in the 4th round, and I thought, shit. And you know what it was? It was those punches to the spleen and the liver and to the lungs. You know what?
Hips.
But also too, and we talked about this, Kelly. Anybody else watching the show? Did you guys notice this? Canelo kept landing straight rights to Golovkin's chest, and I mean, right? It don't seem like a lot, guys. But if you hit somebody over and over again in the heart, over and over again, what's it do, Kelly? If you hit somebody in the heart, it wears them down. Because what you're doing is you're making the heart work faster, and you're making it beat faster.
It's a motherfucking heart attack.
You're breathing harder. Now you're expelling more oxygen. That was a plan going into that. Canelo kept hitting Golovkin with that straight right to the chest over and over again, and it was fucking genius because these are things that people never did against Golovkin. But tell me if you agree. For now on, everybody has a blueprint how to beat Golovkin. There's a blueprint out there how to beat this guy. You got to be willing to take the punches, but you have to back him up.
Yes.
And if once you can do that, you can beat him.
Bully the bully.
Jacobs would fuck him up now.
Triple G is not that good of a boxer, and I don't know where people are throwing that in. You know, they do it with me like, oh, Triple G boxes too. I don't see that. I see a guy who imposes his strength on you, tries to wear you down, backs you up, has people afraid before the fight even begins, has people already knocked out before they're even knocked out, kind of like the early on in Tyson's career. And you see when guys like Danny Jacobs fought that fight with Triple G, he was afraid the first half of the fight, scared to engage. And then look when he said, screw it, I'm going to go in there. And then the last half of the fight, he did. And look what he did against Triple G. And that's gospel. I mean, you cannot tell me that it's not.
It's true. It's true. What I'm saying is, but on the same token, I think there's a blueprint for Canelo too. I really do. I think there is. I think you have to be a little more dynamic to beat a guy like Canelo. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're not going to outbox Canelo. It's
going on that too. Look how much smaller. I mean, Triple G looked a lot bigger than
Canelo's 5'9" at the most. You know.
I'm just talking about size. And everything.
It is, and but the thing is, there's a blueprint. What happened is they laid so much on the line that other fighters were looking, and they figured out there's ways to beat these guys.
It's Chris. I'm going to go score the rounds I gave to Golovkin only, Damon, and post the vid. For what though?
They're just trying to figure out around. Kelly, Damon says, "Have you started working on a plan for Andre Ward?"
Huh?
Did you start working on a plan for Andre Ward?
No, there was all in the talks, negotiations. The contract was actually getting drawn up. It was almost done. And again, people, I get it that I was the one that retired. That's why the fight didn't happen. But no, Andre Ward hurt his shoulder and pulled out from the negotiation and had shoulder surgery, and that's why he took all that time off.
Yes.
So,
what would have been your game plan for a guy like Andre Ward?
Virgil? I would have probably fought him as if how I fought Jermaine Taylor.
Would you have?
Yeah,
he was a better fighter than Jermaine, more athletic.
I would have worked on. It's tough to say,
he was
but
taller too, wasn't he?
No, about the same height.
Was he?
Yeah, they're both. No, actually, Jermaine's probably taller. Jermaine was my height, but right around it. I mean, you're talking about maybe an inch at the most difference.
Oliver said, "Much respect to both of you, but I still had it for Triple G." Oliver, we're not arguing that because if you had it for Triple G, I could understand it. Me and Kelly both said that. If you had it for within a close score. I mean, as long as it wasn't, you don't have it a blowout. If you had it for 115, 113, 116, 112 for Triple G, fuck, I get it. And I respect it and I agree with that score. But I'm saying it's what you were looking for in judging. That's what it is. It's what you're looking for. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. What criteria are you judging a fight on? But there's respected people out there. And I'm not talking about these media motherfuckers because I'm talking about fighters like, and trainers like Rudy Hernandez had it for Golovkin. I'm not going to argue. It's how you see the fight. Thank you, Jesse. A shout out from Warren, Ohio, Kelly.
Oh, cool, yeah.
But and I see that, and like I said, I'm not gonna argue. I would never argue that. I'm not saying this fight was a whitewash. You got half on one board, saying Canelo, the other half on Triple G. It's how you see the fight. You know what I mean? It was a great fucking fight. If we can argue about how we seen it.
Yeah. Christopher says I know, definitely. I mean, it goes on that. Yeah, it's nobody's wrong for who they had picked in that fight. He said he circled and jabbed very well against a very stubborn pressure from Canelo. Few guys beat what G showed the other night, in my opinion. He also was able to keep his back off. But again, everybody keeps going on that jab. But the reason why Triple G was throwing that jab was because he was getting rattled to the body with shots and didn't know what else to fire back with.
Triple G went, and people, I mean, you try to understand this. Do you know what Triple G did? Triple G he regressed back into the amateurs in those late rounds, throwing the jab, because what he did was he was doubling, tripling, and quadrupling a jab, right, against a counterpuncher. And that is the one thing you do not do. You do not throw a triple jab at a counterpuncher.
So that's my question. Do you? Oh, I think this is our guy.
Am I right?
Yeah. So do you? I will get back on that.
All right, guys. We have TJ.
TJ, you're on the air.
What's going on?
How you doing?
How you doing, champ?
Doing good. You guys?
Can't complain.
Good.
Nice, man. Nice.
We're just excited to have you on here. What an honor.
Oh, thanks, man. I appreciate it.
Definitely, man. You're out there working with Roger now still or no? Was that the last camp?
I haven't got a chance to work with him again since the first time I worked with him my last camp, but I've been telling him I need to get up there. So before I get into my next fight, I want to get up there and get some work in with him.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, that's family to us. So we appreciate him, talking to you and getting you on our little old show. But
yeah, man.
Yeah. But before you get in here, I wanted to tell you, I read that you're from Angels Camp. When I was a kid, I used to vacation there.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, a little place about 20 miles away called Tulum.
Oh, I know where that's at.
Yeah, there's a little river there in Tulum. We used to go there and stay there the whole summer.
Yeah, that's cool, man.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
But I wanted to. Yeah, I know, right? For those who don't know, we have a UFC Bantamweight champion, TJ Dillashaw. I think one of the pound for pound guys in the sport, and just an all around great athlete. So this show's a little different, TJ. We're not going to hit you up with the same boring ass questions that you get hit all the time with. You know what I mean? So we're going to hit you out of left field. We're not going to make things uncomfortable for you, but we're not going to ask the same shit that you get asked every day.
So first question is, what do you like better, baseball or football?
So we're going to start. What brought you into the MMA world?
Oh, man, I grew up wrestling. So I wrestled since I was 8 years old. My dad got me into wrestling. But then I was on a full-ride scholarship to Cal State Fullerton down here in Southern California. My assistant wrestling coach at the time was Mark Munoz. He was in UFC while he was coaching us. And when I graduated, I didn't feel like I had ever really reached the goals or accomplished as much as I should have, And so I was enrolled in grad school to become a submission assistant. But my coach Mark Munoz talked me into fighting. He's like, "Look, man, you're a super aggressive wrestler. I think you'd be a great fighter. You should give it a shot." So I decided to drop out of school, and I said, "You know what? I'll do this for a year. If I'm any good, I'll stick with it. If not, I'll go back to school."
Well, it sure the hell paid off. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, it definitely worked out.
I wanted to say I watched your Joe Rogan episode last week, and I thought, oh my God, this was one of the most amazing episodes I ever saw. I saw you and your coach and your nutrition. I was blown away by your nutrition regimen and your training regimen. What are some of the things that you're implementing that's kind of changing the way other athletes are training?
Man, it's just we're cutting edge now. Everywhere from my diet to the ways I'm working out to the recovery system to the schedule I'm putting together. I just don't cut any corners. Even when I'm not in camp, I'm still sticking to the diet. I mean, I showed up to the Triple G Canelo fight, and I ran into Roger. Roger came with me and say, "What's up?" And he's like, "Damn, bro, you're still in shape. You're looking all yoked up." I was like, "Oh, yeah, man, I stay in shape year-round. I actually just got doing strength conditioning before I drove today."
Oh, that's the difference between MMA and boxers. We eat ourselves out of the house between fights.
Yep.
Yeah, man. Yeah, well, so do a lot of MMA fighters and wrestlers as well. But, the sport is changing. The sport, there's a lot of professionalism in the sport now,
It is.
Well, I'm trying to continue to always make a name for myself, and I don't want to cut any corners because I want to leave the sport being known as the greatest ever. So to do that, I feel like I want to be fully dedicated, and I'm OCD, man. I'm addicted to being the best, and I'll do whatever it takes.
Yeah, TJ, I got a question. Well, actually, two of them. What got you into the MMA? As far as I know, like you said, you wrestled all them years, and yeah, you were great at that. And then when you got into the MMA, what was the second art that you kind of wanted to learn? That's what's interesting to me, as far as to be able to compete in the mixed martial arts. What was the other art that you picked up? Was it like the stand-up striking, or did you move on to the jiu-jitsu since you already had a base platform through wrestling?
Yeah, jiu-jitsu came very easy. Like, as soon as I got into MMA, my wrestling just overpowered jiu-jitsu anyways. Like, being a good it's a different style of wrestling, so collegiate style wrestlers will make the best jiu-jitsu players because it's more wrestling on the ground.
Yeah.
To where if you're doing Greco-Roman or freestyle, it's more just about takedowns for the most part. You don't really worry about like scrambles and the ground wrestling. So I was a collegiate wrestler. So jiu-jitsu came very easy to me. What really intrigued me was striking. I fell in love with striking right away. It was something very new. And I'm a very aggressive person, and so me see some aggression was nice. I love boxing, sparring. It was like one of my favorite days, getting in there, just going ham.
Definitely.
The technique behind it, it was just going for it, you know.
Yeah.
Well, you
right away.
You've got some rounds in with Lomachenko. What was that like?
Man, that was amazing. It was really cool. Just because that guy is so humble and welcoming.
Yes.
And just to see his work ethic, and not only his work ethic, but the way he kind of he takes no shortcuts as well. You know, as soon as he's done sparring, he's hitting the bag. As soon as he's done hitting the bag, he's doing these reactive drills. He does a lot of reaction time drills and mental mind games and a lot of off the wall training that you don't see. You don't see other athletes doing it, and I really believe that it's paying dividends in your year as a fighter because. When I sparred the guy,
yes,
his reaction times were so good. I felt like he knew what I was throwing before I threw it. You know, like he was always one step ahead.
Yeah, I could understand that. That'd be like sparring. Like that's like a lot of guys say sparring. Guys like Mikey Garcia is the same way. You know, I think and I'm sure guys that work MMA fighters that work with you, they feel that way. That you're kind of anticipating everything that they do.
Yeah, man. I mean, it kind of comes with repetition as well. You know, you gotta. I think drillers make killers. That was one thing I watched from Lomachenko too. Like his dad would have him go through just drill after drill after drill and doing things slow motion and muscle memory. And you know, once you've done it so many times and repped it out so many times, like your body's gonna get used to seeing certain movements. And once you get used to seeing that movement, you can pick up on it faster.
Yeah, hey TJ, how was the sparring with Fozzy too? Was you working with him?
Yeah, man. My last camp, I got to spar with Fozzy.
Yeah, another one.
It was cool, man. It was really, really good. You know, I like to get in there and try to hold on against these world-class boxers. You know,
well, hell, yeah, I was gonna say.
I would love to actually take some boxing fights. You know, and it'd be something amazing to do. You know, I don't know if that day will ever come, but if it ever did, it'd be cool.
I can tell you right now, bro. Sparring with those two guys is better than most world champions had in sparring. So if you want to talk about being one step ahead, you got it right there with both of them.
Oh man, I appreciate that. And the cool thing about it too is that I've kept great relationships, so that if I ever do get in the boxing world, I'd be able to do my camps up there. You know, and also with the likes of Terrence Crawford, I've become friends with Terrence Crawford.
Yes.
You know, right now I feel like I've gotten to work with two of the best pound-for-pound boxers in the world. You know, two of the greats. You know, I feel like Terrence Crawford and Lomachenko are as good as they get.
I agree. I agree with you. And also, I want to ask you a question. How's MMA changed over the years? What kind of differences have you seen in your time from when you first started till where you're at now? Changes in the business, changes in the sport, and in the development of fighters.
Oh man, so much. You know, and I got UFC in I was an Ultimate Fighter in 2011. So in those 7 years, like to watch how much has changed is insane, man. Like we're about to be on ESPN, you know, we're just like every other sport, you know, just like football, you know, and boxing and everything. Like we've grown so much, we're so mainstream. It's everywhere with the celebrities you see in the stands at the fights, you know.
Exactly.
It's just, it's amazing. And then also just the professionalism that's going into it. I mean, these kids are training MMA from a young age now, you know. Kids that have been training it since they were 12 years old, that are fighters now.
Yes.
You know, they weren't a wrestler like I was that started fighting at 24 years old. They're training the sport of MMA. They're not training wrestling. They're not training boxing. They're training them all. And now MMA is its own form, you know, to where when I first started, it was like, okay, I'm going to go to boxing practice. All right, now I'm going to go to wrestling practice. Now I'm going to go to kickboxing practice or jiu-jitsu practice. But now at gyms, you can go to MMA practice where you might do boxing a drill. You might, do boxing to takedowns. You might do takedowns to jiu-jitsu. You might be doing wrestling with kickboxing. Like, it's all morphed into one sport. So you can go and practice it from one single, one practice instead of having to break them all up.
Yes. How did you see the Canelo Triple G fight go?
I was there live in person, and it was a great fight. Awesome fight. I would love to see it again just because I thought it was such a great fight. A different fight as well too, because Canelo actually came forward and stood his ground this time. I feel like this fight was closer than the first fight. I feel like Triple G got completely robbed the first fight. I feel like this fight was closer, but I was still edging Triple G. I still thought that Triple G won the fight, but it was a lot closer, and I wasn't like blown away that Canelo won, you know. But the first fight, I was completely blown away. Like, it was a complete robbery.
Yeah, you know, it's probably the fourth best world title middleweight fight behind somebody else's. So,
hell yeah.
Yeah, no, you know, we had it for Canelo. I thought, you know, we were discussing that earlier on the show. I thought Canelo controlled the fight, and his punches were the ones. The body shots were brutal, and he had Triple G afraid to engage. You know, and Triple G backs his guys up, and he's strong and he hits hard, and he wasn't doing that. And I think that he picked it up late, but it was just a little too late.
I agree.
Yeah, I'd love to watch it on TV. You know, if I was there in person, I feel like I'd be able to see a little bit more if I watched it on TV. From in person, I felt like there was a couple times where Triple G kind of had Canelo in a little bit of trouble.
He did.
The way that it looked to you guys?
Yeah, he did. But again, you can't, because of that, you know, I can't go back and erase the early rounds, though. You know that.
Yeah,
so
of
that's.
course.
And like I told Kelly too, like we talked about too. Either way you scored the fight, if you had it close for Triple G or close for Canelo, there was no wrong score there.
No.
I mean, if, you know, as long as you're with the region, like, hey, 116, 112, 115, 113, either way, or a draw, we could see it. But we're seeing scores like 120, 108.
This one should have been more of a draw than the first.
I think so. I agree. Yep. We had Triple G 116, 112.
And I think I would have been happier too if it would have been a draw. You know what I mean? It's just.
Yeah,
for both sides.
I mean, not 2 draws in a row. I think the place would have got burned down if that happened.
Well, it definitely made for a third one.
But I seem to think too. This is what I was thinking. I just saw, as in Triple G's corner, there was no advice for him. There was no plan B or C, or even there was no alternative plan. And like I said earlier in the show, I saw Triple G kind of revert back to the amateurs, throwing that triple, quadruple, double jab constantly. And that's the one thing you don't want to do against a counter puncher, is keep throwing a triple jab. Yeah. And I thought maybe he ran out of options.
And another thing about Triple G too is that you can see the difference in Canelo. He doesn't throw combinations.
No.
It's one punch at a time. You know, when Canelo lands his punches, he's throwing a full-on combo. You know, Canelo's got very crisp technique, you know.
Yes.
And he'll throw great combos. I almost feel like his technique's almost too good because you know what he's going to do and when he's going to do it. But Triple G just wouldn't put anything together. It'd just be one punch.
Well, I think it's became a thing with punchers. Punchers tend to do that when they rely on their power. They quit throwing combinations because he's so used to taking people out with the first 2 punches.
I think a big part of it, again, I'm going to say it, is that those body shots and the way he was landing those, they were hurting. You could see the nerve. You could see Triple G starting to clench and twitch and cover that body. I think that took a lot of that game plan away from Triple G early on in the fight. Those were hurting him. I
can see that.
I do. And I mean, we have a question. You have a question from our producer, Justin. He said, when there is a time, TJ, he said he would like to see would you like to see a rematch? He would like to see a rematch with you and Dominic Cruz. A lot of people like him think that you should have won that split decision, and Cruz now is supposed to be healthy again and ready to fight. Would that be something that you would look into?
Look, man, I would love to fight him again. But that
no, this show's perfect for that. You can say motherfucker all you want.
Yeah. That motherfucker needs to fight for 2 lost. You know what I mean?
Right?
Like, I lost a bullshit decision to him, and it took me 2 years to get my title fight back because he was dodging.
Right.
He knew that I won that fight. He was hand selecting the fights that he was fighting. He thought I lost a split decision that's very controversial to him, and then he goes and fights Uriah Faber.
Yeah.
All right, whatever. Like they had some drama, but Uriah Faber's a number 5 ranked fighter.
Yep.
Right? I'm number 1, and then I go on to beat Sintel, the number 2 ranked fighter. Number 1 beats number 2. Sure, I should get a title shot, right?
Yes.
No, he gets the hand select fight to Cody Garbrandt, which was a number 8 ranked fighter.
Yep.
How does that make sense whatsoever? And so you want to sit out for 2 years since you got demolished by Cody and be injured, and then all of a sudden now that 2 years later I'm looking for a contender and you're healthy and you sat out from competing against Murderers Row. I mean, we got Jimmy Rivera, we got Marlon Moraes, we got Ascenso. You haven't beat any of those guys. You've been sitting on the sidelines, but you want to raise your hand and say you deserve a shot? Fuck you, man. To go and beat Marlon Moraes, I want to fight you. And I hope you do. I hope you go out there and do win. But guess what? I want you to go through that training camp. I want you to put in the hard work, and I want you to beg my ass to fight you while I go out there and select my second belt and smash Henry Cejudo first.
Yeah. I agree. Shit, fair enough.
Yeah,
and I think for the same reason is when he fought, he saw something he didn't want to see again. You know what I mean? And it was easier to fight. A lot of these guys, they don't want to go back through what they went through, so they're going to go an easier route.
TJ, we've been on the air now for over 2 hours, and it's the first time I see my producer smile like that. So he's a big fan. You want to see if there's any questions, Facebook?
Yeah. How do you think that Conor McGregor and Khabib's going to play out, TJ?
You know, I was from the very beginning when I thought that was going to happen before he fought his last fight. I thought Khabib was just going to smash him. Yeah. But I've always kind of bet against Conor because I know he has some weaknesses.
Yes.
You know, and we look back at the Chad Mendes fight. Chad Mendes did that to Conor McGregor on 10 days' notice. Never even had a camp. I was out drinking beer with him, and he got to call to fight the guy. You know, like, he has some weaknesses.
Yes.
But if Chad Mendes would have had a real camp, there would be no Conor McGregor. He's very lucky he got Chad Mendes on 10 days' notice. So I thought Khabib would smash him. But after watching Khabib's last fight and how slow he was on his feet, man, I think Conor's got a chance to catch him with that big left and keep the distance. And obviously Conor's confidence is always huge, and that plays a big factor, man. So, you know, I'm actually leaning more towards Conor McGregor now. And I had all the thought that Khabib would win.
Yeah, I got a question on that. I know for boxing, I'm not as far as MMA or UFC, but in boxing, you know, ring rust, that comes into play when you're out for so long. Would any of that, does that come into play at all, you know, as far as in the octagon?
I think it depends who you are as a person. I think everyone's a little bit different. It depends on your mental aspect of it, you know. With me, it wouldn't play in a factor at all. I'm always going to believe in myself, and the belief is everything, you know. And then making sure you're getting them hard sparring rounds in. That's where you get your timing down, you know. Sure, if you take fucking training camp easy and walk through the motions and just drill and make everything easy, it's going to be tough after that ring rust. But the belief in walking out there and having fun and a smile on your face, knowing you're meant to do this shit, there's no such thing as ring rust.
Yeah, and you know what, like. But the thing is, and I tell people that, and I get a lot of shit from boxing community for it. I tell them MMA training is a lot more physical than boxing training, conditioning wise. And people are like, what the fuck are you talking about? You just, I look, man, I've done both. And I'm telling you, the MMA conditioning is so much harder.
I promise you it is.
Yes.
If I could go and do a boxing match, I would be so pumped to know what my camp was going to be. You know what I mean?
Yes.
I would get to go boxing's like my favorite thing to do out of camp. You know, the cardio is different, man, as well as the work is different.
Yes.
The times I get hurt, it's wrestling. The times that for the hardest conditioning, it's wrestling. It's that the aspect of MMA that you don't understand is the muscular endurance you have to be involved with.
Yes.
When it comes to boxing and just striking, it's a lot of aerobic. You know, it's really aerobic. You do some low base, you do some running. Yeah, you do some strength conditioning to get faster and things like that. But when you start doing MMA with the grappling aspect of it, you have to do a lot of anaerobic work.
Yes.
I have to push my lactate threshold to the roof. That lactate threshold is when you get muscle pump. You feel like you want to throw up, and you have to go so hard, and you have to push past that. And that's something that in boxing you'll never be able to get to your lactate threshold by just boxing.
No, I used to spar 10, 12 rounds in boxing, and I would go do a jiu-jitsu class a couple days later. And 5 minutes of rolling, I was shaking, I was sweating, I was sick. You know what I mean? Just from that constant rolling word, and then you roll and somebody else rolls with you and just keep rolling. I was like, and I realized that this is a whole different kind of conditioning.
Yep, it really is, man. It's crazy. My strength conditioning workouts now are freaking insane. I've worked out my entire life, and the way I've been doing things for the last 2 years has been very intense, but there's a lot of science behind it. There's a lot of recovery behind it. We're very cutting edge right now. I think we're the most cutting edge facility in the entire world. The UFC PI, the Performance Institute, they're wishing they had as much science and knowledge as we had. You know, I feel like I highly believe that we could put the Olympic Training Center out of the water with how much we know what we're doing. My coach, Sam Calavita, is on a whole other level.
Yes. Well, you know, and also too, with what you were saying too, Roger says, Roger just commented, he said, TJ trains hard. I admire his work ethic. Not just boxing. He has some strength here too. He was just talking about your work ethic and how strong you are, how you're always working. And you know, Roger's one of the up and coming guys in the sport. We say that all the time. He's another level to a trainer. He adds more dimensions. Do you see that too than a lot of other boxing trainers do? He explains why he wants you to do it instead of just do this.
You know, I look at them, have a couple sessions in with him up in Oxford, and I love it. I mean, I already want to go back, you know, and so I feel like it usually takes more for me to want to work with the trainer again and see the improvements and have to work with him like maybe for a week and like, okay, I can see how this is going to work in with my style. But me and him, we clicked instantly. You know, right away, we clicked, and he was able to add some things to my game, keep me a little bit more technical, and was another thing too was honest with me. You know, he's not a trainer that's gonna blow you up with smoke and be like, yeah, man, you did a good job, blah blah blah. It's like I want to know the fucking truth. Like, how do I get better? What do I need to do? Like, don't just pump up my ego. Don't make me have like a false confidence.
Yeah, you don't want him to tell you're indestructible.
He's a great trainer, man. I can already see it.
One of me and Kelly's good buddies was a teammate of yours, Matt Brown. We just saw him
Friday night.
This Friday night. We went to dinner with him and Joe Rogan, and we talked about you. And so, and so Matt had all good things to say about you. That dude's a monster himself.
Yeah, he does. He works hard too.
But
absolutely, and he's a complete student of the game as well too. It's crazy how knowledgeable the guy is in so many aspects. How much reading he does, how much studying he does. Like Matt's a great guy, man.
Yeah, he was going to come on tonight, but I think we were running a little late, so we didn't get him on. We were going to put you guys on a 3-way call, but we would have got cussed. Matt would have cussed us out for some reason or another. He always does.
Hell yeah.
So,
but like I said, it was an honor having you on, and I know we're taking a lot of your time, but I appreciate it. It means so much.
I like just sitting here listening. I mean, you know, the MMA fighting and stuff like that, that's something I'm really interested in. And I eventually want to get, you know, involved with it. Not fighting. My days of combat is over, but just learning, you know. So. Heck
yeah, man, absolutely. Well, I appreciate you guys even just having me on and asking to get me on here. You know, I'd love to talk about this work. I love it. You know, it's something that's my life. You know, like I said, I'm addicted to it. So, I appreciate it. And, I could probably talk about it for hours.
Well, anytime you want to come back, we're willing to talk boxing, nutrition, anything. We'd just love to have you on.
What you got coming up,
anything you need, we're here for you. And you know, we're big fans.
Appreciate it. Appreciate it.
And thank you, champ. We appreciate it, TJ.
Yeah, thank you, man.
Okay, you guys have a good day.
You too. Thank you.
All right.
Later.
All right. That was TJ Dillashaw, guys. And what a great interview. We're going to have Matt. We just ran over waiting on TJ, so we didn't get Matt on, but we will get Matt on soon.
Yep. I can sit there and bullshit with him and Matt about that, though. Just different questions on it.
It's a different mindset than boxing. You know what I mean? They're a little more relaxed.
Yeah, but like and I get different from each person, too. Yeah. Like, you know, I asked like Matt, which as far as the wrestling, which Matt really don't know. You know, TJ would know a lot more as far as the ground fighting, as the jiu-jitsu.
Matt's good at jiu-jitsu.
Oh, yeah, I know that.
Belt.
Yeah, but I'm saying is like the wrestling background and, you know, Matt, he fucks around with them feet, man. He puts them on me just playing around, and the shit hurts.
Yeah.
I don't want that. I don't need that in my life.
I'm worried about his Muay Thai. That motherfucker is a great Muay Thai, man.
I don't need any of that. Them elbows, fucking elbows felt like cinder blocks. But
right.
Well, that is going to kind of bring us to the end of the 2.5-hour show.
Yeah, guys. Thank you for sticking with us. Those who stuck with us.
My butt be hurting. But it was a great show today. I thought, and I don't care who else didn't think it. So
no, I thought it was a great show.
If you didn't like it, fuck you.
Fuck you. Eat my ass. No, but hey, guys, thanks for sticking with us. If you like the show, subscribe, like, and share the show.
I just got word Viking Harm's longboat installed in the parking lot.
Is it really?
No. But
was that a long term for his penis hanging out?
No, just his boat. Can you picture like the boat broken down?
Speaking of longboats, mine got new shoes.
Oh, it did. Air Jordans.
Air Jordans. Air Saturns.
Yeah, his car. But hit the YouTube, like, share it, but mainly subscribe too. If you subscribe, it'll just be easier.
Yeah, and hit that little bell icon if you guys want to keep watching. We have a lot of things going on every week. We will get Matt on, I promise. Will you text him and apologize too, Kelly?
Yeah, I will.
Okay. But yeah,
we'll blame it on TJ.
We'll blame it on TJ.
Called in real late.
Yeah, but hey guys, if you guys have any questions, you can get in the Punchlines inbox and ask questions if you need to. Shout outs, whatever you guys need, and we'll answer them. I'm not going to say they'll be the best answers, but they're the only best answers we have.
Yep.
And
stay tuned.
And we will see you next Tuesday.
For sure.